I mean, not if
Seems pretty
Sunox
tough.
has anything to say about it.
There we
Sunox is
go, Sharky
doing
down.
some crazy damage here with the read. Look at these shots. Tech very low. Sunox doing the damn thing right here.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, they are doing everything that they need to do, and I still, like, it's so interesting to see Shuby on the Valk, but he has made such great strides playing Valk when he got signed and moved on to MPS, so love that for him. Unfortunately, Matt is going to fall, and Pow Pow taking significant damage. Now Shuby, last one alive, but he's got the RE45, and I feel like we've been in this position before.
Yes! Shooby Chooby with the RE45!
We're gonna fight Sentinels versus Dark Zero here.
In Bangalore smokes are in. Sentinels with the Seer and the Digi threat gonna put some nice damage in from Sinox. Jin Burton is killed Crust in the kill feed. So it's a 2v3 at the moment. I think Sentinels 2, Dark Zero 3.
I mean, not if
Seems pretty
Sunox
tough.
has anything to say about it.
There we
Sunox is
go, Sharky
doing
down.
some crazy damage here with the read. Look at these shots. Tech very low. Sunox doing the damn thing right here.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, they are doing everything that they need to do, and I still, like, it's so interesting to see Shuby on the Valk, but he has made such great strides playing Valk when he got signed and moved on to MPS, so love that for him. Unfortunately, Matt is going to fall, and Pow Pow taking significant damage. Now Shuby, last one alive, but he's got the RE45, and I feel like we've been in this position before.
Yes! Shooby Chooby with the RE45!
As Hal's charge rifle finds the knock this time, and Skittlecakes goes down, beginning the end of Optic as they lose Dupe as well. It's got to be Knock that clutches this up. He finds the first knock onto Hal, lays down some good damage on the low ground, but it's Reps and Verholst that are left alive that could still take this back. Reps is down, and it's just a 1v1. Our two Valkyries, Verholst and Nox, going up against each other. Verholst goes down. Reps comes up behind him, but doesn't find the kill. Optic clutch this up just in the nick of time.
The ordinances are just so punishing. A drop down to the low ground, but his Watson and crew don't find the knock. They're going to turn this one right back towards the edge of zone, and right around do they find that RE45, just as nasty as it is. First drop onto Yanya, now potentially more.
I'm gonna have nightmares of the sounds of RE45s in the hands of others as Panders just absolutely go in, making that clean sweep for Luminosity, but it's Oxygen who wants a piece of this, but Furia, his Watson in particular, didn't really take that much damage during that fight, so not necessarily a huge reset needed to have for them. Hill actually was more damaged than Furia. That Digi threat on the RE45 is gonna be the nemesis of Crook as he falls. Hill taking too much damage. Now Enemy, the last one standing in a 1v2 scenario.
Oh, Furia here, and last member left standing alive. Oxygen, both flesh as well. One more shot will do him in. Oxygen, even with a third, can't finish this one off.
Back into that fight, utilizing the grab lift, they're able to find a crack onto Horizon, and they're just jumping straight in. Now, Capra knocked, Panders knocked, Furia eliminated. What just happened? Back into that fight, utilizing the grab lift, they're able to find a crack onto Horizon, and they're just jumping straight in. Now, Capra knocked, Panders knocked, Furia eliminated. What just happened?
Ordinances are just so punishing. A drop down to the low ground, but his Watson and crew don't find the knock. They're going to turn this one right back towards the edge of zone, and right around do they find that RE45, just as nasty as it is. First drop onto Yanya, now potentially more.
I'm gonna have nightmares of the sounds of RE45s in the hands of others as Panders just absolutely go in, making that clean sweep for Luminosity, but it's Oxygen who wants a piece of this, but Furia, his Watson in particular, didn't really take that much damage during that fight, so not necessarily a huge reset needed to have for them. Hill actually was more damaged than Furia. That Digi threat on the RE45 is gonna be the nemesis of Crook as he falls. Hill taking too much damage. Now Enemy, the last one standing in a 1v2 scenario.
Oh, Furia here, and last member left standing alive. Oxygen, both flesh as well. One more shot will do him in. Oxygen, even with a third, can't finish this one off.
As Hal's charge rifle finds the knock this time, and Skittlecakes goes down, beginning the end of Optic as they lose Dupe as well. It's got to be Knock that clutches this up. He finds the first knock onto Hal, lays down some good damage on the low ground, but it's Reps and Verholz that are left alive that could still take this back. Reps is down, and it's just a 1v1. Our two Valkyries, Verholst and Nox, going up against each other. Verholst goes down. Reps comes up behind him, but doesn't find the kill. Optic clutch this up just in the nick of time.
We're gonna fight Sentinels versus Dark Zero here.
And Bangalore smokes are in. Sentinels with the Seer and the Digi-Threat gonna put some nice damage in from Sinox. Jin Burton is killed Crust in the kill feed. So it's a 2v3 at the moment. I think Sentinels 2, Dark Zero 3.
I mean, not if
Pretty
Senox
tough.
has anything to say about it.
There we
Senox is
go, Sharky
doing
down.
some crazy damage here with the Re. Look at these shots. Tech very low. Senox doing the damn thing right here.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, they are doing everything that they need to do, and I still, like, it's so interesting to see Shuby on the Valk, but he has made such great strides playing Valk when he got signed and moved on to MPS, so love that for him. Unfortunately, Matt is going to fall, and Pow Pow taking significant damage. Now Shuby, last one alive, but he's got the RE45, and I feel like we've been in this position before.
Yes! Shooby Chooby with the RE45!
We're gonna fight Sentinels versus Dark Zero here.
And Bangalore smokes are in. Sentinels with the Seer and the Digi-Threat gonna put some nice damage in from Sinox. Jin Burton is killed Crust in the kill feed. So it's a 2v3 at the moment. I think Sentinels 2, Dark Zero 3.
I mean, not if
Seems pretty
Senox
tough.
has anything to say about it.
There we
Senox is
go, Sharky
doing
down.
some crazy damage here with the Re. Look at these shots. Tech very low. Senox doing the damn thing right here.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, they are doing everything that they need to do, and I still, like, it's so interesting to see Shuby on the Valk, but he has made such great strides playing Valk when he got signed and moved on to MPS, so love that for him. Unfortunately, Matt is going to fall, and Pow Pow taking significant damage. Now Shuby, last one alive, but he's got the RE45, and I feel like we've been in this position before.
Yes! Shooby Chooby with the RE45!
As Hal's charge rifle finds the knock this time, and Skittlecakes goes down, beginning the end of Optic as they lose Dupe as well. It's got to be Knock that clutches this up. He finds the first knock onto Hal, lays down some good damage on the low ground, but it's Reps and Verholz that are left alive that could still take this back. Reps is down, and it's just a 1v1. Our two Valkyries, Verholst and Nox, going up against each other. Verholst goes down. Reps comes up behind him, but doesn't find the kill. Optic clutch this up just in the nick of time.
The ordinances are just so punishing. A drop down to the low ground, but his Watson and crew don't find the knock. They're going to turn this one right back towards the edge of zone, and right around do they find that RE45, just as nasty as it is. First drop onto Yanya, now potentially more.
I'm gonna have nightmares of the sounds of RE45s in the hands of others as Panders just absolutely go in, making that clean sweep for Luminosity, but it's Oxygen who wants a piece of this, but Furia, his Watson in particular, didn't really take that much damage during that fight, so not necessarily a huge reset needed to have for them. Hill actually was more damaged than Furia. That Digi threat on the RE45 is gonna be the nemesis of Crook as he falls. Hill taking too much damage. Now Enemy, the last one standing in a 1v2 scenario.
Oh, Furia here, last member left standing alive. Oxygen, both flesh as well. One more shot will do him in. Oxygen, even with a third, can't finish this one off.
Back into that fight, utilizing the grab lift, they're able to find a crack onto Horizon, and they're just jumping straight in. Now, Capra knocked, Panders knocked, Furia eliminated. What just happened? Back into that fight, utilizing the grab lift, they're able to find a crack onto Horizon, and they're just jumping straight in. Now, Capra knocked, Panders knocked, Furia eliminated. What just happened?
Ordinances are just so punishing. A drop down to the low ground, but his Watson and crew don't find the knock. They're going to turn this one right back towards the edge of zone, and right around do they find that RE45, just as nasty as it is. First drop onto Yanya, now potentially more.
I'm gonna have nightmares of the sounds of RE45s in the hands of others as Panders just absolutely go in, make it that clean sweep for Luminosity, but it's Oxygen who wants a piece of this, but Furia is watching.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Oversight. Today, we are bringing you the final 6-game series to round out our Split 2 playoffs, where we will see the North American gods duke it out one final time. You might have seen me, of course, over the course of these last few weeks. I am Zephyr, but I am more than happy. No, I am ecstatic to introduce a longtime friend making his debut here and rounding out this glorious season. Fallout, welcome to the desk.
I just realized I got some big shoes to fill, man. This is the last broadcast of Split 2. I'm joining for the first time. I'm the new guy around the block. It's a pleasure to be here alongside you, especially Zephyr. I mean, it's a long time coming, man. We've been talking for quite some time. We've always dreamed about an opportunity to cast together. It's an honor and pleasure to be casting alongside you and to be supporting Oversight. I mean, one of the most remarkable things that the Apex competitive community has done to provide nothing but really pure quality entertainment for competitive Apex fans worldwide and for the pro players as well. It's gonna be a blast. This is day 2. We're gonna find out the winners of the Split 2 playoffs here in a second. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be honest, it's more of an honor for myself. So don't get too ahead of yourself there. We're going to take a look, of course, though, at who is competing. Obviously, you guys have been staying up to date. You watched yesterday. These are the 20 teams that you've already seen fight through 6 games as it currently stands. And not just that, what was a 6 to 7 week, I would say, series across multiple teams that can't be here today.
That's right. You said the NRG, so you said the North American gods. It's more like the NRG demigods. I mean, they've been dominating throughout the entirety of Oversight. They do so well in these tournaments. Obviously started shaky in ALGS, but it's been looking great ever since. And that leads us right to our overall leaderboards of the competition so far. We're obviously 6 games in. Zephyr, NRG on top, taking through the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Furia here, not too far behind, only 4 points below them at 75. And then that's where we start to see this kind of gap evolve with TSM, Oxygen, to guard, all kind of down there in that 40-point range. And some big names, of course, rounding out that top plus 40 with Space Station 100 Thieves. But all in all, definitely a point spread that spells out quite a story coming out of yesterday.
Yeah, it's basically a 2-horse race as it currently stands, but obviously there's still 6 games to be played, so a lot of Apex left, and I don't think we're going to see even close to a similar standings towards the end here. But it's so interesting. No. Dark Zero in that like 9th spot that they just love, barely sneaking into ALGS playoffs, Optic Gaming in a similar kind of spot. Sentinels with Tyler FPS. I know you've been a fan of that roster playing alongside Vex Gaming God.
Oh, absolutely. That is a simple understatement. And trust me, once we get into game, I will have my whole EMEA spiel ready to go when it is given the opportunity here. But outside of Sentinel, there's a majority of teams, and that we've had the opinion of on ourselves here. Obviously, Tiff and Dia discussed it a little bit yesterday, but let's take a look back at some of those predictions, see how they've kind of fared here recently now, at least after that first 6-game stint. I know for you yourself, you're doing, I would say, pretty good. I believe starting off with the which was Energy and Guard, if I'm correct.
That's right.
Furia too.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They let us change things up a little bit, which I'm okay with. Originally, I had NRG first, LG second, and Guard third. So I'm 2 for 3. They said you can switch it up today because obviously there's point totals and we'll let you switch it up. So obviously, how could I not put Furia in there with like a 35-point lead? But 2 for 3 is not bad, man. I pride myself in being a top-tier analyst and predictor, and here we are.
Hey, at the end of the day, I'm of the belief that you stick with it until the end, okay? When they came to me with those predictions, I was under the premise that we were talking about all 12 games. And while TSM currently sits a little bit behind, third is definitely...
You're rolling with it? No change?
No, absolutely not. Today is the day, John.
Are you nuts? Dude, they're like 40 points behind. No, they're still in top 5, though. They're
still like 20.
Today is the day they could certainly step up. I like the call. I think it's a good one.
And it, by the way, seems to be like a resounding agreement from a good majority of our predictors here. Tiffany, Wig, Clara, even Zach there with what was that kind of second place finish for TSM as well. And a little bit of shifts across the board.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny, man. All Reddit, I can see it now. Like, oh, caster bias. Casters are so biased towards TSM. I wish people would realize it's not a bias, it's a fact. I mean, TSM has consistently been a top team since the beginning of Apex Legends. We'd be remiss and we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we weren't, you know, continuing to predict them to do well, because they continue to do well. They've kind of earned that spot as a top caster prediction. But with that said, you don't see no Fallout TSM bias here, my friends, all right? You don't see TSM my predictions. I'm just saying. I got to put that out there real quick.
I'm not exactly sure why. I thought that was crazy, but, you know, we'll find out the secrets to the method behind the madness later today. And hopefully the tears as well as they win and you're officially wrong, okay?
We changed. So some guy on Twitter, when I put the IGL top 10, you know, top 5 IGL list out, took it upon himself, was so angry at me that he took it upon himself to put a top 10 casters list, like a tier list, and had me like dead last. Okay, maybe I have no disrespect to the other casters because of the TSM bias, and responded to everybody with that picture of me wearing a TSM jersey at LGS Champs. So can we let the record show you are the TSM biased caster here, not me?
It is. Hold on. I've made this point to Tiffany. This is a rare Zephyr occurrence. I am not always on the TSM boat. We have come off of some great play, not only within Oversight, but looking at internationals, a couple of other places. I would be remiss not to acknowledge the fact that I currently think TSM is the best team in the world.
True that. When it comes to vexed bias, though, you have no shame admitting that one.
Oh, no. They if they were in this lobby, they win. Either way, let's move this one forward. Obviously, we're talking a lot about TSM, but they weren't the ones to come out on top of it all. Let's take a look at one player in particular here. Of course, it's Guild from NRG.
Yeah, doing Gilderson's things. First in overall placement as a team, 19 kills to his name, 7.5k damage across 6 games. I mean, he's not Gilderson's the god for no reason. The best 1v1 firing range player, in my opinion. One of the best controller players in the world. He's just playing out of his mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And NRG kind of coming out of the woodwork in a little bit of a surprising way. Obviously, we can give some of the credit here to Guild, but across that entire roster there between both Nathan and Sweet, I know there's been a lot of suspicions regarding how this team would perform, especially since we haven't really seen them in those scrims here recently. So the fact that they break on through the other side, first place, dominant lead, is a great start here today.
Yeah, it's a fact. Let's take a look at our second player. We got Anders of Team Furia. Anders, I say that Gildersons is the best controller player in the world. Pander says, hold up, wait a second. 15 kills, 6.5k damage, proving that I am correct. No, I'm just kidding. But Panders is insane, has been. I remember, you know, obviously early on in his days competing and trying to become a pro player. He dominated every single arenas tournament, and that's how you knew he was just so incredibly skilled. I'm so glad this Furia squad picked up Watson and rose to the top, and Panders kind of now has a chance to sit and prove to the world why he's so talented. It showed here today so far, or yesterday so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, this is another one of those teams that I personally believe has been kind of a bit more on shaky ground. We come off of what was the last split of ALGS, right? Especially after what was Furia rewriting the books coming out of Champs, defining the meta, really kind of influencing the entire Apex competitive scene, and they having to kind of pick up the pace, find how they reapproach things now that it's not the kind of new kids on the block with their special sauce in the background. I feel like it's really nice to see that they are finding that mesh when it counts here, kind of striking the clock at, I would say, midnight.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we'll have a team highlight here for Furia in particular, because I'd love to double click and dive a bit deeper into that. I mean, you're spot on. I mean, they rewrote the meta. Kudos to Sea Lion for doing that at Champs. I have a lot of respect for him. He doesn't get nearly enough recognition, by the way, as one of the top analysts in the game. But they did it again. They had to do it twice. I mean, they had to soul search after 3-4 weeks of LGS, bottom of the rankings. They were actually at risk of getting relegated. Well, they completely went soul searching, completely rewrote how they play as a team. They changed their team comp up, and it's been working out really, really well for them. I'd love to take a look at that team highlight from Furia.
Yeah. Absolutely, for Furia, a dominant start yesterday. Obviously, they don't finish on top, but it's only because of their KP. Arguably, actually just statistically, they did better in their placement in comparison to NRG. They are split across by a 5-kill difference, which the difference in terms of their point standing is only 4. So a very, very tight race between these two squads.
Right. Rewriting meta, playing with Little Mad Maggie, Bloodhound, and Bangalore. Hyper-aggressive team comp. Obviously, they did it with Fuse. They did it first team to run Seer, and now they're kind of changing things up again with Mad Maggie on full display from, I believe, his Watson. So excited to see what they can do today. Can they take the first place spot over NRG is the question, who's been really lights out so far, and really all of Oversight, but especially yesterday.
Now, I am kind of interested. There has been some discussion as I do my little readings before we kind of get into this. NRG, a lot of people are kind of claiming they had a little bit of the zone bias coming out of yesterday with some easier rotations, which I think is slander upon the name. I don't think
100%.
people realize how hard it is to hold down a zone, even if you are guaranteed a nice rotation into it there. But who knows? With things shifting and the RNG potentially ever out of their favor, they might not find their success.
Yeah, maybe some variance will come into play here, and they'll have a bad last 6 games. No! People
All
people
6.
Yeah, exactly. All 6 games, they're just screwed. No, that's not how it works, my friends. People love, Gaskin in particular, not that I give him a hard time, but he always likes to talk about how the teams that are closer to zone have an advantage. That's not true. I mean, statistically, if you look at ALGS champs, if you look at any high competition, it's pretty much a 50-50 split for teams that are in zone where the zone goes, or teams that have to max rotate. And obviously, throw in a special X and Y factor of playing, zone heavy as a team comp or liking to play early rotation. I think it's just teams that are better that will continue to play as well. And that's one thing I love about Apex and Apex Esports, more so by a mile, maybe 5x, 6x than any other battle royale. There's consistency, and you will consistently see the best teams on top.
Absolutely. You know how to do it. It's either edge play, zone play. Your team has defined it and now is obviously looking to capitalize in the best way possible. I'll tell you what, though, Fallout, we spent a lot of time here discussing what is TSM, Energy, Furia, respectively. I kind of want to hear a little bit about your dark horse thoughts, right? Those teams that are maybe a little bit further back on the leaderboard, but still have the chance with one really good day to usurp some of these kings here.
Yeah, I think I got to stick with my original prediction. I got to stick to my gut a little bit. LG. I mean, LG played out of their minds over the last 3-4 months of Oversight, and then, of course, also the LGS split. And didn't have the best start yesterday. I think they're in 12th or 13th place on there overall. I think they'll have a good last 6 games here. I mean, this is a big tournament. People don't realize, obviously, it's the Oversight Split 2 playoffs, a lot of prize pool, and a lot of visibility. But this is one of the last big tournaments before playoffs in London. So with that said, a team like LG is going to be looking to go into London with a lot of momentum. I'm looking for them as a dark horse to step up big time. Zephyr, who you got?
Ooh, I think I would love to see Oxygen continue to, we'll say, impress me.
Oxygen's a dark horse. Are you nuts? They're in 4th place.
Whoa. They're in 4th place. But in terms of what people were expecting in the regards to this team prior to yesterday, I think it is still on shaky ground whether or not they perform. I think between Crook, Enemy, and Hill, they have that ability to find success. But as you guys can see at home here, we're already making our way in. Character selection all set in stone, all done and underway as our dropship makes its way across World's Edge.
That's right. Keep Monsoon on SSG, by the way. A lot of rumors flying around the rumor mill right now, but we got Alberlelli obviously playing here with CLG as well, some young gods, and I like that from Alberlelli. Obviously played alongside Snipe Down and Slurpee G, and on the FaZe Clan roster, things didn't work too great. And actually, Alberlelli's at a similar point to where I was in my career back when I played professionally, which was I felt like I knew the game really, really well. I played at a top level of top teams, but I was just sick and tired of like the egos, and I'm not saying Snipe Down and them have egos, but the egos and the I know it all personalities that existed at the pro level. I was like, let me go find 2 like mid-tier players that have the ambition, and if that sticks, I'm really interested to see how CLG continues to fare.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of a weird period here because while we talk a lot about things like playoffs kind of having its impact and these teams getting ready, there's so many rosters that are now kind of in that period of experimentation, trying to see what may work going into next split of things like ALGS or even Oversight. Right? And so that's why even today you bring up things like Aberlele. What was that switch up, which we will see also later on with Optic, I believe, with Dropped. Those are things that are definitely going to hold their impacts and potentially influence who ends up where.
That's right. That is right. I mean, it's tough because only top 10 qualified, and you look at teams that didn't qualify that were right on the fringe, Optic and a few others. And they're good. I mean, they don't need to make a change, but you gotta be a top 10 team if you want to make it to Split 2 playoffs. If you want to make it to champs, that's just the reality of it. So teams can't settle for good or can't settle for great. They have to settle for excellence. which means they have to find the roster that's going to do that for them. It's a really tough spot to be in. I don't envy these pro players, but one team I got a lot of respect for, sticking to their guns. It's the Tripods on board with Nick Merckx, Gentrifying, and Deeds. A really fun team to watch. They had a lot of highs and lows, and some good moments, some not so good moments throughout Oversight. And overall, just excited to see what they can do here if they can bring this back. Currently in last place.
Already on the aggressive foot forward Glitch, but the separation between the team. Gent complete on the other side, steps a bit too far forward before Nick and Deeds can really kind of come through with a nice flank in a 2v3 situation here. While they will find some beautiful shots, and the Sentinel drop from Merckx onto Dimmy here, it still doesn't bode well. Purple, blue, Evo's in dominance here.
Yeah, Reed's going to be able to pop that battery. Nothing they can do even though they got the first scan. That's going to be it. Nice job from Vayne. Really, the whole story of that fight was Vayne. GG Vayne indeed. GG Tripods. Vayne outsmarted, outplayed, outgunned every single member of the Tripods right there. His ability to actually rat and stay hidden, catching Gent off guard, getting the first knock, breaking ice. Brilliant plays from Vayne. He does not get nearly enough respect as a top fragger, top shooter on this team.
Well, we'll see how they transition. As for Tripods, going to go back to the drawing board. Currently sitting in, I believe, 20th overall coming out of yesterday. So not much of a change thus yet, but still 5 games to the side. Meanwhile, down here in South Lava Siphon, TSM and NRG contesting just a bit. Energy with height for now, but obviously with that zone pulling this direction, feels like this contest is inevitable.
Right. See where this zone will be going. They'll favor the SSGs, the NRGs of the world. We're okay with these zones, like to barely rotate. But here we go. Big fight going down between CLG and LG. Basically the same name. And guess what? LG says the second 2 letters are better than the first letter, and they come out on top.
They handedly do so. You can see Niesel there for a moment with the wrecking ball on the interior with a bit of that confusion that provides, I'd say, their access to that fight. Obviously, we lose out on at least one of the members here of CLG, so I assume it was something of a chase down from Harvester at some point here. For now, though, back up towards Skyhook. Glitch Gaming still on the forward foot of aggression, potentially looking to pick up another squad.
That's right. I just got to point out real quick. I can't say I told you so yet. It'd be a preemptive, I told you so. But LG showing up big so far. My dark horse pick, who's actually a dark horse, unlike Oxygen in 4th place.
All right. I'll redefine what the word means
dark
a little bit later on. All right, it's a little bit of a light horse, but
a light horse. I like that. We'll go with that. Okay with that.
Meanwhile, for Glitch Gaming, the assault has come through here. I like the height play, but right from the back end, Dimmy loses out on this position. OLN pushing into the interior of this building now, but an immediate one-kick knock there from Vayne with the wingman. A swoop in on the side from Oistman will find a return onto Reeds. Turns it right round with the R99, but pinned from behind as a final member, even with those micro drones. It's difficult.
Roller Reptar, what you got? Man is not missing right now. Oh my god, the movement. He's going to actually outsmart and try to make a play right there. It's not going to matter. He's going to get taken out, but I got to say, great plays from Reptar right there. I mean, really showing how good he is in his decision-making in those close fights. And obviously a while ago, played for Complexity, switched over from keyboard and mouse to controller, and he's been looking to get back into the competitive scene. It's good to see him back and competing once again. We saw a knock from Imperial Hal on, I believe, Gilderson's, but they weren't able to finish up that kill. You saw Energy got that res, and it's going to be TSM with an early rotate here, well positioned.
Looks like
actually,
just
they didn't have to rotate. They didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, they're just
exactly
they're hanging out. They've made themselves a
chilling.
happy home. This is their real estate for now. I have to say, the guard outside of them, just here to the west, looks like they are facing slight difficulties. You can see Capper with that 30-30 finding drops and knocks. And while I don't think it'll impact any of the decisions made here by TSM and their rotation, one bad trade, one big EMP, and potentially maybe even this, with that revive coming through, can set anything in stone. DZ moving in.
How interesting is this? Almost symbolic.
There it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're going to try and take advantage here. Nice job from Hal, taking up one with the 30-30. Peter, can he get the second? Yes, he does. Make that 3, and see you later. The guard eliminated. As I was going to mention, it's kind of symbolic. Yes, all the top teams in this lobby, NRG, the guard, and TSM, all within the vicinity.
Now, notably, Energy did drop for a moment there after being pressuring back, so kind of already implying, and a little bit of that maybe having to do with this composition here. Obviously, that Watson can be a bit of a protector, but it isn't as defensible as I would personally like from height like this. But now that they've kind of reassessed the guard, no longer pressuring directly in this area, they are able to drop down, find fence line, start kind of pressuring outwards towards where this zone is going to maybe more directly pull ahead of them.
NRG loves that Loba pick. One of the few teams to run Loba consistently alongside teams like Team Liquid and others. They use that Loba to their advantage here. Trying to get that crypto drone. It looks like they'll be able to heal back up, but continues to get peppered and just focused. Right now, they are the chosen ones, not the good kind. The entire lobby seems to be focusing them, but they're happy. They're content. They're comfortable being uncomfortable with the pressure coming through from TSM and Co. And they like their positioning. I think they'll survive to fight another day.
It'll be tough, though. I personally think there's maybe some better spots to potentially invest in coming out of where this zone looks to be pulling there. And while kind of a later rotation is something that Energy can play into once all these northern teams do begin to collapse, play out towards that bridge or central lava siphon, maybe they can sneak in. But one bad misstep, one bad positioning, and you can see them potentially wiped out in full, similarly to what we saw out of the guard moments ago.
Yeah, now that I'm seeing where Zone's pulling, I was going to say maybe they're going to hit a Valk rotate. That's their best option. But Zone's pulling to where they are. It's probably going to continue to pull a little bit northeast of them. So expect a late Valk rotate, because good luck rotating by foot. You're not going to be able to walk that in with TSM, Dark Zero, and others. Optic is actually there as well. So expect a late Valk rotate coming through from Gildersons. Meanwhile, back on board with Snipe Down and FaZe Clan. Luda and Phony Furia on the prowl right now.
No, I'm not exactly sure. I believe this might be actually ESA, right? Coming through
Plus
with Snipe Down. Yeah, plus Snipe Down joining them. And maybe some particular leaks in what might end up happening with Luda and Phony Future. But unconfirmed as it currently stands, and their survivability unconfirmed as well. Furia continuing to chase this down. They're going to get a soft reset out in the building ahead there. And with that information, they will get some time on their belt. But we both know Furia never looks to slow these things down.
That's right. ESA is the most fascinating roster in my eyes, finding so much success yet being still so dysfunctional with Capra on that squad. And yeah, nonetheless, on board right now with Phony. Always had so much respect for him as a leader, as a person, as a top player in our game. He's going to back out and reset here. At Cyril, it's too much to deal with. Actually, it's their Cyril. So they decide they don't want to push this, though. They don't want that smoke.
Yeah, kind of trying to aggress into that choke in particular when you're losing on height. Even if you find what is that ordnance from above, it's a bit difficult. Meanwhile, we do have a third party playing in from behind in the bridge. And while ESA, I still think is a really good spot, this might bode well for Furia. If no fight comes through almost immediately here, they might get soft resets out as, yep, shots are starting to ring through from behind.
Yeah, benefit Furia here, definitely, but even more of a benefit to this team at third party. I'm not sure who it is, and I don't think we caught it in our cameras. But good heads-up decision from ESA to catch it early. That team could have 3-2-1'd a little bit better right there rather than just the charge rifle, which immediately gave away their position. And no knocks for ESA. They got away with murder right there. They got pretty fortunate.
Still, though, Furia is separated. That kind of quote-unquote revive, maybe play into getting them back up. Not exactly taking place right now, but ESA not as confident to push this one forward now, knowing that they could be assaulted at any given point. They want to prevent it, though, as much as possible. Meanwhile, it looks like we do have a bit of the action taking place. Sentinels here in their final moments. Funk climbing up, Aiden down to Flesh, and pinned out by aim assist.
Yep, that's right. It's going to be designful, chaotic much, and fun. And they're going to find a way to take out all members right there of Sentinels. Sentinels with the pickup of Aiden, rumored at least, pretty much confirmed at this point. Aiden leaving the BR Demons, which is a team that had so much potential. It's insane. We'll see if that decision pays off. Obviously, getting signed by Sentinels is not a bad situation.
No.
He also would have been signed with Glitch Gaming. Would have been a pretty good situation either way, I think. But nonetheless, he picked his straw there.
We'll see how it fares for now. Obviously, back towards our choke in play. Glitch Gaming, we make mention of them, and they're running through from behind. Now, I'm not sure if in that small time period with ESA moving back, they were able to get the revive up, but with this redeploy, it might be once again another lucky saved by the bell moment for Furia as they themselves now, looks like they're taking it toe-to-toe against EA.
Furia out. That's our second place team, by the way. NRG going to profit overall in that two-horse race for first. E8 eliminates them. I don't know where ESA is right now. Do they early rotate, or are they going to join the fun? Yeah. That'd be a really good opportunity, a golden opportunity. No pun intended. Actually, I didn't realize we were spectating golden, so I swear to God, no pun intended. For them to pick up a couple kills there, but it looks like they did hit an early rotate as well. ESA is out. CLG, Dimmy, and Co. are going to make a rotate of their own. And just like that, all teams will live to fight another day. Glitch Gaming is fine. ESA going all the way through Harvester. They're going to have to walk it in here, and they're going to have to fight against Oxygen. and LG.
Obviously, I was going to say West Side definitely being the more kind of difficult area to play through. You've got the majority of the lobby. Actually, looking at the positions of what currently exists here, this zone kind of plays out a little bit more towards where you usually see Dark Zero, that kind of pillar out there on the west side. And for teams like, notably, Optic, who holds central position within Lava Siphon right now, it's only a small rotation ahead to potentially find them in their end games.
Notice how LG's playing this extra quiet. I think they may know something that ESA does not know, which is their location. I think LG is going to find a way to sneaky rat their way to a 3-2-1. That's why they're all kind of wolf packing right now. A lot of animals being referenced in today's broadcast. Nonetheless, animal metaphors. I'm a big fan of them. Nonetheless, an opportunity here for LG to get at least one first knock.
Can you even rat against a seer? That's what I always. I was like, in this meta, I mean, like, it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, little do they know.
Yeah, little do they know they're right there from behind. Now, obviously, they're gonna move out
like
the
a
air.
bronze seer.
I would be, yeah, I would be shocked if Phony didn't pick up on that at any given point here. But who knows? Anything bad takes place in this particular fight. Doesn't go through smoothly. They find themselves pinned as a result. And yeah, Luminosity can swoop in from behind and maybe start picking up on some of that KP. But for now, doesn't seem like that'll be taking place. And potentially we might be seeing a wider rotation from ESA somewhere else.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting scenario here. If we could look at the overhead map again, I think it's a similar situation. I don't think they have much of a difference, but really it's three teams. ESA, it's LG, and then I can't remember the last one. One more that's, was it Oxygen? Oxygen is nearby.
Oxygen.
Yeah, I mean,
My light horse
space. Yeah, your light horse pick. Not a lot of space to. Oh, and here we go. They did actually 3-2-1 them. So I don't know if they got caught off guard by ratting and not called out, but there's the 3-2-1. There's the elimination. LG playing that so well. I love that decision to stay sneaky. And the wingman shot, they're not going to miss from Niazul. Great job right here from Yanya and the boys. Jaguares comes in for the second knock on phase. Snipe down just like that. LG over ESA.
And now they usurp this high ground position. They've got that squad Oxygen below them that they might have to contest. It doesn't look like the job is said and done here up against ESA for now. Obviously, looks like Phony still left alive there. I believe literally outside on that choke for now. With the zone closing in, there might be this small opportunity to swoop in and get those bears back, but we are kind of getting to that point of the game where it is becoming less and less likely that we see that savior moment take place.
Right, and that was the point I was going to make, is that there's no way these three teams are going to be able to coexist. There's going to be at least one team getting eliminated in the next 30 seconds. But of course, I didn't even have time to make that point because the team got eliminated within the next 30 seconds. So just like that, LG takes out two members of ESA, Phony last alive, and LG's not going to be just content sitting on top of Oxygen. They will stack like pancakes as we got a couple teams. They'll be gatekeeping this next zone. That's going to be a pretty brutal rotation for both teams. And again, I think it'll be SSG, LG, or Oxygen that will make it. No way all three of them, or even two of them do, in my opinion.
You know, I give my favor towards height in situations like these, whether it be back towards Season or MPS. Obviously, these teams are dominant in their own regard. To have their ability to kind of come up from that low ground and put themselves kind of upwards in that northwestern corner, but with so much difficulties presenting themselves in what are these kind of squads as obstacles, I would not particularly bet on it unless it is something like a very late redeploy to carry them across maybe towards the opposite side of zone or in some kind of cubby to give them their presence forward.
Right, and here we go. I think, God, this observing team is on point, man. Shout out to Parks and the boys. This is the exact point I wanted to make. Setting the stage for the elsewhere on the map. I feel like this is a soap opera or something. Yeah. We got NRG behind some boxes. And I said they're going to be content chilling here, and they have been. They like this position, but now they're going to have to rotate and move. So this is going to be difficult for them with TSM right in front of them, going to be gatekeeping. That's another tough rotation for NRG. You don't really have the option to take a Valkyl this late in the game, and in my eyes, there's not going to be a lot of real estate or positioning available. So we'll keep a close eye on this story as well as the story on the northwest side over towards Harvester. Very, very difficult rotations.
You can already see it starting to take place a little bit over on this side with, it looks like Glitch paying the price there at the hands of most notably 100 Thieves. Optic does pick up a little bit from their central position Lava Siphon. Notably, though, I do make mention of it, they are pushed back for now. I really like Optic here, though. I really do. They've defended now this spot from below that we saw Glitch Gaming try to swoop in and take. One good rotation forward, and it could pay off well. And there's that Luminosity redeploy we talked about earlier.
And I love that decision because you were spot on. A team with high ground, MPS has the advantage. And LG knew it. LG did not want any bit of that walk-in rotation because they knew only one team would survive, and it'd likely be the team on that bridge. So they are going to ult and Sora NRG at the same exact
Wow.
time, and both of them will actually find some positioning. Not great positioning, but enough to survive. You know, Sweet is calling out commands right now as he normally does on these rotates, and NRG will chill, find a little bit of a reset here on Glitch Gaming. I think they're going to get all of the materials there. That's actually huge.
Now, this is the tough part, though, on the western side. We talk about walking it in between SZN here and MPS. Yes, it is a slaughter from above, picking teams like SSG apart. There goes Frex and Zen. One more just behind the pillar to wipe out this squad and fall. Make it an Arc Star. Make it anything you want. And oh, even before SSG goes down, Luminosity's picked by TSM.
That's right. So LG got picked as well on their rotate. Just like we said, only one team would make it. Guess what? It's going to be Season that finds a way. But guess who's nearby? MPS, still alive. So MPS and Season, the only two teams. SSG got taken out. I think Oxygen must have gotten taken out unless they hit a Valcall. I don't know if I've seen them in the kill feeds. The 10 squads remain. We'll try and keep you updated on that. Nice little pop-up yeet shot coming through for Pow Pow right there. But MPS with the Loba ultimate in late game is certainly going to help them.
Now, notably, they are working with that Newcastle, which I personally don't like when you're not really utilizing it alongside that Watson in situations like this. Pressured into the corner, ordinances and missile strikes raining down. It's too much damage to deal with, especially when you're backed into a corner like MPS is right now. And the fact that they don't have that castle wall for that next rotation forward where they have to breach a bit of that stairwell up there, it doesn't bode well.
No shot. Oh, actually, I'm going to hold that thought because we got a big fight here between Optic Gaming nearby, and it's Oxygen. Oxygen is still alive. They were able to make a rotate. Don't know exactly how they did it through the bridge or what, but here we go. Dropped. Going to get some shots in and barely survives. No, he's going to find a way to get a bat off. Nox going to get taken out right after by the hands of enemy, and just like that, they're trading casualties here. Both teams, it looks like it's 2v2 as things have settled. No, it's still 3v2, and Oxygen's going to get the win.
At the end of the day here, it looks like that'll be all said and done practically. Oxygen still having that numbers advantage, and Arcstar will pressure them both back for potentially some soft resets, but with even zone closing in, for Oxygen, they might not finish the fight, but they've got teams like 100 Thieves here waiting on the outskirts. MPS down, energy down, Oxygen fighting for space, inch by inch here around the corner. Crook, before he can even get the swing off, is brought down at the hands of the Thieves.
That's right. So things will settle now, and 5 teams remain. It's 100 Thieves, TSM still alive, and that was the point I was going to make. I said, no way that NRG survives with their positioning, and that's exactly what happened. They got taken out. They're not in the best position or spot as teams will be collapsing and rotating. So in the end, NRG Furia, top 2 teams, 2-horse race, potentially no more if TSM can win this game.
And mind you, over here now making their way forward into the choke. They know they've got this advantage from above. Big cracks found, a drop onto Vax line. The rest of 100 Thieves barely able to breathe here. While those ordinances will keep them moving a bit further forward, it still results in the end of the Thieves. Optic spelling that they might have an advantage with that initial knock, though. They want to come in, third party this, choke up against the edge, but shots from the side. It is Dark Zero from across that saved TSM.
The third partier becomes the third party as Optic Gaming is going to get taken out right after. TSM survives, needs to get a res, and they will. Season now pushing up. They're going to find the first knock. This is the Capra effect. Despite what he does for your mentals, a man does not miss shots. But Dark Zero is nearby. Aim assist will be cleaned up here. At least one member, 2 members. Goodbye, aim assist.
Whoa!
But he's going to do some damage. That's that close range controller advantage as now DZ down to 2. Season down to 2. And guess who's going to profit? It's TSM.
TSM taking height. They've got that zone pull to work with right now. TSM wrapping around the edge, and it doesn't even look like it's hard here. And EMPA will stunt them for a moment, but not before Sharky falls here. Make it a quick back, make it a little bit more health. They don't have to worry about the pressure that they have built up. Capra might try to sneak from behind, but TSM find knock after knock. Look at this split position from Verholz. The missiles to follow through, the drop onto Capra, and the TSM win in game 1.
Isn't that just poetic? I mean, we started the broadcast just talking about this whole TSM bias thing. You predicted them. I was roasting you, roasting myself a little bit. And here we are with the TSM win in game number 7. This is why the majority of casters called them to win this tournament. They are so incredibly good over the long haul. Maybe in 6 games, they won't always win 100% of the time. Over 12, well, they look great. Here are the replays, but overall, it's TSM on top.
Now, for a second there, I thought it was all said and done, especially with what it was a fantastic swing. Optic kind of coming in there, kind of seeing the weakness after that initial fight, but they were literally, it's like plot armor. They're saved from across the zone there from Dark Zero, and that hilariously gives them their movement forward, their reset necessary to walk into a win. Past that, though, this game is as chaotic as it gets.
Well done. There's a moment where Optic, I think, ended up losing one casualty. Ended up in the difference in that 2v3 against TSM that they were trying to swing. Fortunately got third-partied and taken out. Oxygen, speaking of swinging, got taken out swinging right here. TSM's playing it so well, recognizing, hey, we can take this 3v3. We can shield swap quick, and we could fight and hold off anyone else, and that's exactly what happened. Optic tried pushing. TSM got some help from friends up.
Yeah. We get this little moment. I like this from Dark Zero, but I like it more from Designful, right? Hidden back behind the knockdown shield. You think it's all just an easy pickup, cleanup crew that actually forces Dark Zero into a terrible situation, now down as a duo with the return found there from, of course, TSM swinging through.
That's a great point. If Dark Zero does not go down there, they're in contention to win that game, and that's a potential 3v3 clean against TSM with shield swaps to their name. So that knock from Designful may have guaranteed the win for TSM. I know Designful and Hal have a little thing going on, but Designful just helped out his good old pal.
TSM here with a 25-point pickup. That should hopefully start to close that gap, because nowhere in this top 10 do I see either NRG or Furia all the way down there in 11th and 14th respectively. Only a 1 and 3-point pickup. Our 2-horse race has grown. We've birthed another horse here upon the prairie. We've got 3 potentially to play for our last 5 games now.
That's right. And the guard, who was in top 4, 19th as well. So yeah, things are certainly shaking up, and I gotta say, NRG only 3 points. You know, it's kind of sad for all the stress that they went through in that game to only win 3 games. If teams were awarded points based on stress levels, NRG would have had at least 50 points that game. It was a stressful game for them just to walk away with 3 points. You hate to see it.
It's a tough situation. They try to play early out in the zone. They make one big redeploy into a position that they had just seen get taken over, dominated in what was glitch gaming, and it never really paid out. But I will say, Fallout, 5 more games to go. 5 games that hold quite a wide berth of impression here, so nothing is quite set in stone yet. When we come back, we'll be bringing you our second game of World's Edge. Stick around. Welcome back to the Oversight Split 2 playoffs. We just came off of a great game, and none other than TSM picking up the first win of the day. A little bit of a deja vu situation, given that I even forgot. They picked up the first win yesterday, Fallout.
Yeah, but the question is, can they keep consistent? Obviously, NRG
Wait, no,
Fury.
second win. Second win. Second win.
Correction.
No, I'm correcting.
Edits.
I have to.
Edits. Real-time edits. They had the best possible scenario, though. I mean, the two teams that they needed to drop a goose egg basically dropped a goose egg. Fury, I think, got 0 points. NRG with 3. So that's a great situation for TSM with a huge game. I think they got 10 to 12 kills. It's a 25-point game. I mean, that reduces that giant margin that was between the two of them. And that's why we said you're going to see a much different top 3 at the end of this tournament, despite many people thinking it would be a 2-horse race finish to the end. No shot with 6 more games to go.
Absolutely not here. Now, there's still plenty of opportunities, of course, for Fear and Energy to find themselves here, but I'm still looking at some of these other teams. We talked about the stragglers as well between both. What was Oxygen actually competing quite efficiently all the way up in there until the end, picking up KP of their own, and then into those fights up against Optic. They were competing for top placement within that 5 as well, even though they're that light horse pick out in 4th right now.
Yeah, you're putting that light horse pick. Killing me with the light horse pick. But now you're right.
Keep doing it.
Oxygen finds a way. Really being in one of the most difficult positions. LG did a basically 50-50, high risk, high reward Valk to rotate. Oxygen said we'll do it the good old-fashioned way. We'll walk it in, and as a result, ended up getting a few kill points along the way, which certainly helped them. But in the end, TSM, courtesy of Designful, knocking one member of Dark Zero on top. But Dark Zero had a pretty solid game as well.
And I'll tell you what, as we make our way in here, character selection, once again, no major differences, and our dropship finding its way forward. I have to say that game was slightly a bit unusual, I would say, in how that poll worked out. In my personal experience, kind of in the background here, usually there's a lot more Preston out towards that western side before that zone pulls into the edge of Lava Siphon, and the difference in how it favored that POI directly might have held some major impacts for how some of those teams rotate, because we had a lot more alive in that endgame from the eastern end that you don't usually see, which is a completely different way that zone plays out, I would say, compared to its normal ending.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, not many love a Lava Siphon finish with all the lava that's there and not a whole lot of playable land. It's a difficult one for sure. So I'm sure these teams will be glad for hopefully a different finish and end zone here. But in the end, TSM did play it perfectly by just staying put in their home. And guess what? They got 13 kills. So for those that I play ranked with occasionally, they're like, we got to get kills. We need kill points. No, make it to late game. You'll get your kill points is the lesson learned there, my friends.
Hey, there is still times, I will say, when you have those deep zone playing teams that only come through on that last fight. So I am thankful that TSM, I think they played really good defense throughout the entirety of that game. We saw many times around how they sweeped kind of on the back end, south side of Lava Siphon to pick up KP where they could. Either way, we start back here in Countdown. This is one of the only contests that we have. Glitch Gaming versus Tripods. Last time around, it was Gent being caught out. This time, might not be.
Yeah, I don't know if Tripod... I mean, look, Nick's not been playing a lot of Apex. I don't know if Glitch Gaming is the team you want to pick a fight against. A really talented team in close-range fights, and so far they're having their way. But not done yet. No knocks yet. Teams will be able to reset to full. How many heals they have is the question, as a Bloodhound scan will come in, and not going to do a whole lot other than buy them some time.
I think after taking that big hit impression there, this is kind of warning the Tripods. They realized their mistakes from that first game. Mercs putting in really good coverage and damage to at least force what was Vayne back there in that moment. This is that soft reset. Now, I hope they approach this smarter. You can see Merc stepping up. This could be a problem if the rest of the team doesn't follow through almost immediately, but with no real drops and only the drill down, it's not enough damage to sustain the push.
Yeah, Nick right there had an opportunity with that Volt to at least get a knock, but nice shots from Deeds. Who's it going to be? None other than Deeds. But the Horizon IQ is so strong. He gets the first knock, leaving Gent and Nick in a 2v2. Nick is healing. Gent goes down. Nick in a 1v1. He has Flash. No, it's going to be a 2v3 clutch from Glitch Gaming. Because of Horizon Lift, they're like, can we revert the thing that we accidentally needed to revert with the Horizon Gravity Lift being inaccurate? Because we missed that.
Yeah, it's a bit rough there. I am surprised regarding the kind of focus into what was going to be that obvious lift. You see the Horizon drop down. You know what situation you're in. You know how that usually transpires. definitely, once again, one of those situations where we look at, of course, tripods here. They're going to have to find a different way to reapproach the contest. This time around, it was a straight 3v3, but I think the decision-making left more to be desired.
You know, I'm going to present a counter argument, and that counter argument is Horizon is broken.
No!
That's it. That's all I got. That's all I think you need to say.
You play with the cards you're dealt, all right?
Get it.
There's several Horizons in the lobby. You
I
get the
understand.
job done.
I understand that, but you said they didn't play the 3v3 well. They played the 3v3 very well. You know, Nick broke ice with the 67 damage headshot, played off that damage, got some more damage in. Deeds played off that push from Nick to get the first knock, broke ice, 3v2, and then all of a sudden they drop a Horizon Gravity Lift and use the impossible to hit Gravity Lift to get easy damage because they have perfect accuracy flying up a lift at full speed.
Okay. We'll leave it in game 3. All right.
Agree to disagree, yeah?
Agree to disagree for now.
Settle it in game 3. I'm down for that.
One thing we can agree upon, though, is where this zone is heading. Hard pull, south side, all the way down here towards this tree area, and it might be even deep into the POI itself. You can see how the cusp of that zone is right up against the edge, which implies that it will continue to make its move down there. So, once again, like I said a little bit earlier, deja vu situations. It might not be exactly over here towards Lava Siphon, but a lot of precedent towards these teams in the south, most notably TSM, who also has maybe not the most direct of rotations, but definitely one that could play in store to a big victory.
TSM's new third they just picked up, MNK, stands for Matt, Nick, and Kevin. Actually, 3 players playing on 3 different inputs.
Really, what's the third?
A mouse, a controller, and a foot pedal. You ever see that girl that beat was it
Yes.
Dark Souls? Oh, actually, I gotta stop that talk right now. Season's fighting. We'll get back to that.
Season here in a similar situation last time around. They were in this train line holding out until the very end, now controlling the exit from Lava Siphon Central. They don't find their drops, but they can't really push much forward with Klain on the recovery moment there. With that Phoenix kit coming through, though, I think they just hold this out. They've got the Caustic. They know they can control zone in space just as good as anyone else here. You just have to worry about those further rotations. Obviously, they can play off the cap or redeploy with that Valkyrie, but getting yourself set up just based off alone of the Wraith and Caustic, I don't think defensively holds as much of a candle to some of those currently meta defensive competitions.
Right. Back on. Currently watching 100 Thieves. Really needs a really solid last 5 games here if they want a chance at top 3. As they're currently sitting in 5th, so have had consistent first 6 games, but need to keep that consistency up for these last 5 is the point taken there. Meanwhile, ESA is nearby, and we know a couple other teams that are in this vicinity. Seasons here, Oxygen is here just on the other side, so it's a 3 or 4 team fight here in this area. And yeah, I think we're going to end with 17 or 16 squads as a result.
Now, obviously, with that pressure from across, you get a lot of teams that set themselves up in the buildings within tree, not directly at POI, but out towards that eastern end. And where I look at Oxygen currently, that could be something that comes back to bite them, either from at least on the other side of the POI, or what even could be that drop down from CLG in the future. Right now, it's too early to say, but in the future, if they don't find their way out of it, might spell otherwise.
Oh, baby. Got a Furia versus Sentinels fight over here in Geyser. This is a pretty clean 3v3 edge fight between 2 very good edge fighting teams. Nice early damage here from Senox, and he's going to want to play off that damage. Holding that Seer Q. You miss the Seer Q, so that person will be able to heal back up to full. And I don't know that you're pushing off of not a whole lot of damage. No, actually, Tyler's able to capitalize.
I like that they're creating space on all angles here, pushing Furia back into a corner. Pander's that last remaining member on the inside. They're going to try to regroup, but they set themselves up in this similar situation, all right in this cubby hole here, which might be the perfect opportunity, but not before Panders, our pick from earlier here today. An instantaneous return. This fight is flipped immediately on its head.
No shot. Panders needed something huge. And Furia needed something huge there because they had, I think, little heals to deal with, only shield cells, and they got something massive. Panders with a headshot and a knock, and now a kill on Senox. And it was actually Zera who had the small heals, who doesn't have the gold overall gold shield for quick heal. And just like that, Sentinels, see you later, Senox. The damage can be done from Watson as well.
Let's take a listen into Furia and see where they're at in this fight. Well, apparently silence, but not quite. There's a little bit of a bug there. We'll hopefully get that one wrapped out and resolved here in the future so you can hear the beautiful voices of some of these players later on. But all you really need to know is Furia kick ass. All right?
Right.
They finished that fight almost in its entirety. It's only my boy from EMEA, represent, out here on the side, just holding off for now.
Yeah, it was probably something like, oh my god, these kids are dog deep sleep. How bad are they? They lost that
look
fight.
at that.
What idiots. Yeah, this is crazy.
No, check that out on the eastern side. They've got the recovery coming through. Distraction in play. Sneaking behind Furia. I wonder if they spot this out. A banner, a pickup backs up onto Senox. They might have extended too far out, chasing out what is Tyler. I mean, that could be a really, really decisive recovery. How Sentinels managed to get back together now, I have no idea. But it doesn't mean all hope is lost.
And you see the marks coming through. They are trying to ape this last member of Sentinels now. So whoever that is, I think it was Tyler. Doing such a good job doing his job and just distracting and making all of Furia chase him. And this is like a good old-fashioned game of team tag, which has really worked out well for them. Capture the flag or freeze tag, where you got to go, slide through the legs of your teammate to get them back into the game. Either way, nice job overall from Sentinels. We'll see if they can get the res, and we'll see if they can recover.
It's early enough. I mean, as long as Fury extend themselves out far and Tyler manages to regroup, they should be able to sustain. But let's find our way back towards the zone. This is where the majority of our teams are, not quite on that edge. Looking at what is C and what I believe, Glitch Gaming on a bit of the interior here, trying to pressure their way inside of this building, it looks like. It's going to be that Horizon grav lift that gets this squad on the interior back outside for now, but Glitch looks healthy. Yeah.
God. Bane is playing out of his mind. Not missing a shot right there with the keyboard and mouse. Meanwhile, Dimmy gets down to 2 HP. Nice. Reed's trying to do what he can. But after Vayne broke ice like that, you think that would have been a GG for GG. Instead, Chaotic Much enters the fight. Aim assist in a third party, and I think both teams will get eliminated at the hands of Aim assist.
Third party coming through here. Reed's trying to escape back down towards the south side. Not quite able to last much longer there. Glitch Gaming is picked up even after what was almost looking to be such a clean trade. On the other side here, Aim assist picking up some final members. As they will look, it looks like, it's the redeploy that saves the day. I was wondering, where did they find themselves?
Return of the Prowler, by the way. Call to come back. You'd love to see use the Prowler here for some of these controller players again. Something we hadn't seen for a while. Optic Gaming going to get this quick shield swap. Going to take out one member of E8. It's going to be Golden. Now they have a 13th place spot for, I think that's actually Glitch Gaming. Maybe the UI isn't updated, so I don't know what place Optic is in overall. Yeah. It was 9th last I checked. Close eye on Optic and their continued performance here. Nice shots from Drop, though, off the rip.
Unable to pick up that final kind of knock there, but I'll tell you what, nothing bodes well on the western side of that choke either, with so many teams set up in that tree area. Still, though, for Optic, it's some good KP to start out with, but E8 does manage to survive. It looks like OLN, though, does pay the price on what was that redeploy a little bit later on. They're picked off by what I believe was MPS on the other side of where they landed.
That's right. And interestingly enough here, TSM, despite getting a really favorable zone again, opts not to early rotate. And they instead will hold the south side of Lava Siphon and play a little bit of a gatekeeper for these teams coming from the north. We'll see how that fares for them. Meanwhile, SSG, MPS, and the Guard, surprise, surprise, early rotations for them. With the Crypto in hand and the Loba in hand for MPS, they'll find themselves in a really good spot. And really not a whole lot of building or real estate in this late game circle, so it's great that those teams really rotated.
I personally like Energy and Luminosity's position back there on South Height. I think that can be a really great rotation if you play your cards right. Speaking of playing your cards right, TSM, they've got to do this perfectly. Hal already low with that bit of recovery, and Furia pushing in for now. They're going to regroup potentially on the low, see if they can get some impressions back as, once again, a little bit of the pepper damage from behind. And even in the windows, Verhols to immediately fall here. Just Flesh, they'll find the knock on to Panders, but not before Reps shares the same fate. Hal here coming up from that first floor is picked off almost immediately. Our winners from game one, dying at the hands of Furia.
And that's big. TSM had a perfect game and a perfect scenario. I got really lucky, to be honest, with Furia and Energy getting taken out early. Not the same thing here. Furia is the last team they wanted to ape them and take their spot, take their loot, and take their lunch money. 3 kills picked up for Furia, and they'll continue to play edge. They'll continue to have a good opportunity at this late game. with that Mad Maggie team comp that's been working great for them. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves with the early rotate find themselves under some duress from the likes of Space Station.
Into the cart for now. I mean, that's a good spot for what will be that zone 5. I'm a little bit worried defensively when you start getting these teams on their next rotation that come out from that northern area. They get to play the edge of train line, in from those buildings over on the side, and suddenly this spot, especially with this composition, isn't as safe here. It's a position to play. You don't have a choice here, but I'm curious to see how 100 Thieves approach what might either be that next rotation or when that pressure comes through. But look at that! Look at who's coming from the north!
That's right. Got Oxygen, CLG, Sentinels all nearby. Sentinels is back in full force, courtesy of that cat and mouse play. Really, it was two mice and a cat, and one giant cat, which is his Watson and the Furious squad chasing. Meanwhile, Senox with the first shot, gonna connect. Fully amped Sentinel here, which is, we've seen a lot more Sentinel in display. And here comes the push from Sentinels.
Gonna be trying to abuse a mix of that smoke with that digi threat there. You can see Tyler stepping forward, but most of this KP, even though they start off these fights with their rotation of zone, is not picked up by then. SCN is eliminated. CLG finally from behind. They get that 1 KP from Tyler, but right on the cusp of this train line, teams like Oxygen do a great job putting damage down where it counts. Surprisingly, they are allowed to get that reset off.
That's right. Furia right above Dark Zero. Not looking good for DZ. Fans of the Aussies from down under, as Furia has a good opportunity here. Ape if they get third-party help from afar. Well, so the Furia hit run continues. Meanwhile, Optics knocked is the next one on that list.
First knockdown there, might be able to follow it through. It's a bit of a distance for now. Meanwhile, back over towards our friends from Sentinels. Even though you can't see their names, they're already picked off in full. Oxygen, they make their way across underneath, and they pressure Furia now on their own drop. They've already lost down one. Pander's low. His Watson down to flesh. Both of them suffering adequately here. Dark Zero doing a great job defending from the low ground. Immediately pick off this squad on their drop.
And I don't know what gave Furia all the confidence in the world to just drop on Dark Zero like that with so many third parties nearby. Maybe they're like, well, we're going to have Bangalore smoke. They're not. We can use that to our advantage. They'll get third party, we won't. I don't know if that's enough of a factor to push a 3v3 like that. So maybe they knew something we didn't, but Dark Zero made them pay. Furia gets taken out. That's huge. Again, for any TSM fan, any NRG fan, as Furia is in second place right now with 76 points. NRG in first with 82, and they're positioned for late game, but they're going to have to hit a rotate here soon.
We take a look at that zone. It cuts off on that kind of northern end of the tree area. I once again pull back towards teams like Energy and Luminosity in this next rotation forward, but the real squad we've all got to start watching out for is Space Station Gaming, holding central position on that POI. It's incredibly hard to defend. I think tree is one of the most difficult spots to put yourself in and hold early on. So if they're able to do so, fantastic. I think they've got that god spot for the end game, but they're going to be pulling up against both those two teams from below at any given point.
I agree with that. You're kind of in a divot. The other team I was going to mention that's in a really good spot is the Guard, though, because the Guard and MPS both have houses, which is probably the most defensible place in this late game tree fight. Meanwhile, Skittle and dropped into 2v. It's going to be Skittle Cake that needs to go big, using that Watson Paladin to his advantage, but going to get absolutely shredded. All up to dropped. Last member alive for Optic. Needs that shield swap and needs it quick. Nope, no shot. Or no, sorry. Yes, we'll get the shield swap and gets taken out right after.
Meanwhile, NRG with a bit of a rotation there. It's actually quite a display of what might be their end here. Sweet! Down to 25. Picked off immediately. Actually, surprisingly, from Oxygen across. Not aim assist, who were on their own rotation down from height. Luminosity still in it. Aim assist pressuring now into POI direct. Space Station still above, but the ordinances, they're going to force movement here from aim assist.
Yeah, definitely no Watson for this edge-aggressive aim-assist squad who, speaking of hit list, they have their own hit list. They picked up 6 to 7 or 8 kills this game so far. Designful's going to get knocked early. Chaotic Much and Funk last two alive. Going to hit a rotate. LG are going to be the ones that are pressuring them.
I like this. Space Station just slowly extending themselves to the low ground. Yeah, it might be that horizon lift, but it doesn't send it anywhere clean. It's just utilized for a bit of that escape. Woo! Oh, Monsoon finding cracks between the pixels to find that knock onto Designful and Funk. They follow almost immediately here. Space Station Gaming doing a really fantastic job of holding down a POI that I personally think is just nasty.
Man's got 20/20 vision. First knock on design full, and see you later. Knockdown shield. Chaotic much will be the second one to follow. Needs the shield swap. Ain't gonna get it. Gets taken out. Aim assist eliminated after picking up a few kills though, so that might help them. Dark Zero now with this push over MPS is a fairly clean 3v3. I think it is a clean 3v3, so Dark Zero can take this if they want, but Jen Burton needs a shield bat. Will do exactly that. And really good shields right now for DZ. Really good loot. Will they push this fight, or will they be content just holding the outskirts for now?
It's going to be interesting here. I like being on the outskirts of these buildings a little bit more than being on the inside. We usually see a play of a bit of a kind of choke situation, but for now, what's being choked is the interior of this cart. We talk about it early on, but it doesn't look like Auction are having as much success as I expected. They do find at least those initial 2 knocks, and they're going to try to sustain the revive, but almost immediately, the Thermite, the Arcstar, the Orange, they ring through with the drop from Hill. He is immediately spotted out by Luminosity. They say, fine, if we're going to go down, we might as well finish off 100 Thieves, but this is all said and done for Oxygen. That could have been handled so much more clean.
Yeah, Hill was just sitting on top of the hill doing so much damage, but ultimately got third party. Nice shot from enemy to get the 3 kill points for them at least. Meanwhile, the guard going to pick up MPS. They win that 3v3 fight, but Dark Zero's nearby. No, it's LG actually who's going to join the fray. Gets the first knock originally, and looks like Dark Zero got taken out as well. LG is playing this perfect right now with ultimate high ground and the ultimate opportunity to win this game. 2 members of Oxygen, 2 members of the guard, with one of them knocked, but should get rezzed.
I talk about playing in from that south side, climbing up on height, taking over this POI. Now, I know Luminosity, they're not ones to sit still either, though. You could already see them trying to extend the source of their zone. Yeah, why not? Go for the craft. You're the one in the dominant position. There's no way in hell you can have someone like the guard as a full 3-squad team peek out from that building. It's an immediate funnel. They are immediately pressured, and you can see them just, I will say, get beamed here in a second. It's going to come down to how even Auction plays out and where the focus is for Luminosity, because the one thing that these 2 squads have going for them is they're so split far apart, they split Luminosity's attention.
He's going to craft anything. It should be some ammo. He's a little low on Prowler ammo there. Here comes the push from LG. Going to have to push. And the guard, sorry, is LG is going to punish them. And right nearby is Jaguadas with an opportunity to shut that down. But no, the guard's going to find themselves a cheeky little spot. I like that call from RKN. And all 3 members of Oxygen, I believe, are back up and running, or is it just 2?
I believe it's just 2 there. Notably, Luminosity is taking a bit of damage out there. Oxygen are able to find that knock on the guard here, but this doesn't change the fact you got Luminosity on height. Look at these positions. Look at this head angle that they could just absolutely shred with decisive advantage. They never have to drop. They can just easily find clean pickups, wipe out Oxygen, and now turn their attention towards the guard, who are just stuck in a crack.
Yeah, that's going to be the LG with the easiest dub of their lives. The guard going to get shredded by Yanya. Who is it? None other than Yanya himself. Ganjaman pushing up here. Here comes the flank and the kill. Luminosity Gaming in game number 7, a much-needed win. They go huge. 8. Sorry, I was wrong. It's 8. I can't do math.
That's okay. Numbers are difficult. We all struggle with it. I even forget the games from behind. But game 8, a winner for Luminosity. We talk about the dominant positions that they held. And while we didn't really get to discuss them really being a part of a large majority of the game, most of our kind of aggression taking place on the north side, they come in at the right time period. I like the pacing from this roster. They knew exactly where they needed to be when in that last zone, and they come out on top. I am a little bit worried about the fact that they really only pick up a bit of aim assist there, a little bit of both guard and Oxygen. How does their KP fare alongside that 12-point placement?
Yeah, I'm interested to see, a genuinely true actual Dark Horse pick in LG.
Okay.
This is your fake
All
Dark
right.
Horse picks. Performing really, really well right here. I mean, they needed a big game. They got it. What's that going to do for them overall? Do they even have a chance to kind of break into top 3 with monstrous games these last 4? I think so. We'll keep you all updated. They were in 14th place with 27 points.
Wow.
So well behind the mold. We'll see if they can keep the consistency up as this late game, though, absolutely dominating. Not really characteristic of Yanya right there. Missing a couple shots. Didn't really matter, though, as he ended up getting the kill on Oxygen and then picks up the kills on the guard right after.
I do like the fact here, we do see what was them kind of extending down to that low ground to try to see if they could take up space. But the minute they realize the rotation is played into their favor, they're back up on height, they're back in with those head peaks, and they're straight on their way to a first place finish, 25 points overall.
Yeah, that'll put them at 52 points total on the day, which should help them break into the top 8, maybe top 7. So, a solid game from Luminosity. We'll keep a close eye on that. But Oxygen, 4th place with 53 before this game. They pick up 14. That'll certainly help them. The Guard doing what the Guard does best, just consistent, solid games. No 25, 26 bombs, but a 14 bomb 4, 5, 6 times in a 12-game series should do enough to put you in the top 3. We'll see if they can keep consistent, but good games from all of them.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Space Station down there a little bit, even though they were the ones to hold out that position, I would say, pretty dominantly for a majority of that game. Weren't really able to pick up much coverage, and even though we didn't really get to see it, they were picked off, I guess, too decisively to push any more points up on the board. But past that, it's TSM, NRG struggling this time around, and even Furia as well. A 6-point game, nothing to truly write home.
Yeah, that's a great point. So again, for the rest of the lobby, if you're just a fan of good Apex series and good stories and a fun finish, what a fun finish this is going to be here. It's insane what we've seen. NRG and Furia, the top 2 dogs, the 2-horse race, really not, maybe they lost a leg or something because they haven't been keeping up too well in games 7 and 8. But hey, what a start it has been to day number 2. What a day it's been so far. As you're making faces right now, I'm not going to look or even entertain those faces. I'm going to throw it to break because we got to take a quick one.
Oh,
we'll be right
okay.
back after this with some more gameplay.
At this head angle that they could just absolutely shred with Decisive Advantage. They never have to drop. They can just easily find clean pickups, wipe out Oxygen, and now turn their attention towards the Guard, who are just stuck in a crack.
Yeah, that's going to be the LG with the easiest dub of their lives. The Guard going to get shredded by Yanya. Who is it? None other than Yanya himself. Ganjaman pushing up here. Here comes the flank and the kill. Luminosity Gaming in game number 7, a much-needed win. They go huge.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Oversight Split 2 playoffs here. We're one game away from sending World's Edge home for one final time here. I'm once again Zephyr, joined by Fallout, and we just came off of a much-needed win by a true Dark Horse pick, that is Luminosity.
A legitimate, actual Dark Horse pick, that's right. LG with a dominant game, and really it started with them towards the very kind of early late game when they were able to take that high ground positioning in the center of tree and basically use that to their success. And I love what they did there. They were basically on a leash, right? They found opportunities for picks wide left, were able to get 3-4 kill points, immediately back to that home base leash where they started, and then same exact thing wide right where they were able to kind of join in on the fun and the fight on MPS in Dark Zero.
Well, with that being said, let's take a look and see how they fare on that overall leaderboard. We've made mention of it in the past, but with that big win, they're not even in the top 8. They're in the top 7, Fallout. 52 points to their name. Still, quite a distance to go if they want to find their way into the lion's share of prizing, but they're still 4 games up.
Yeah, I mean, look, similar spot to where TSM was. They were down 20, 30 points, and with one game, really completely narrowed that gap and that deficit into a top 3 spot where they are in just one game away from taking first. So I think Luminosity can do the same exact thing here. If they can have another big game, that's a big if. Meanwhile, the Guard, Oxygen, 100 Thieves, well, they stay consistently top 6 and kind of lingering around the second tier.
Absolutely there. Other than that, it seems like not much has particularly changed from what was our kind of leaderboard yesterday. Some of these teams still trying to find their best footing forward. It does seem to be like those who were at the top of performance yesterday are once again kind of rearing their head here. So we'll see if we might get any kind of mix-ups. I know at the end of yesterday we had a little bit of an aim assist, a little bit of a guard at the very end there outside of what was our kind of 3 kind of team race at the top.
Yeah, what sprinkling will we get this time? You know, what's that guy's name that does the thing with the elbow? I always forget his
I know.
name.
I like how we
Y'all know
both
what I'm
knew
talking about.
exactly what
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
that dude.
Who's it going to be this time? That's the question. Something tells me it won't be Tripods. We haven't seen a whole lot from them so far today. And, you know, obviously it's they haven't been grinding. They've been playing. They're not going to London. Not a whole lot to play for. I know Nick's been playing other games. So that's kind of what you'd expect in the London preparation, like the 10 teams in this lobby have been. So with that said, well, 9 teams. Something like that. So with that said, you know, I'm interested to see who's going to perform here in these last 4 games. But one thing that is for sure, LG, massive game last. TSM won the game before. Fury and NRG need to step it up.
Absolutely. The big thing, obviously, that we're going to be taking a look at right off the bat is going to be this matchup between Glitch Gaming and, of course, Tripods. And we're going to settle the debate. All right? We're going to see exactly who comes out on top of this one. Right now, it's 2-up for Glitch Gaming, but I will concede one point. It has not been the most extensive practice sessions for Tripods, and if you're going to take it toe-to-toe in a 3v3, Glitch is definitely not one of those rosters you want to do it.
Well, we're going to find out if they will do it. I think something tells me, I know Nick and I know this squad, they're not giving up that fight.
Absolutely not.
They're not playing for positioning, you know, at playoffs. They're not playing for anything other than pride, and they are prideful individuals, and they feel like they got robbed of that last fight. I think they'll fight it one more time here. We'll see. Obviously, they have nothing to lose because they're so far behind in standings. So interested to see if that 3v3 continues.
Hey, at the end of the day, even if it may not be a direct practice within, say, scrims or rank, just getting the opportunity to come out here and compete is hopefully pushing this Tripods roster in the right direction when they make decisions in the future, however they approach their further games. And I hope it's something of a note that they can work with right here.
That's right. As these teams are looting, getting ready to fight this fight, one quick note, as a heads up of what's to come. We got Storm Point, baby. Next game in the last 3 games. I like the fact that we're finishing on Storm Point. So we'll be switched on over. This is the last game here on World's Edge. Another 3v3 fight. If you're just tuning in, first off, welcome. Second, this is the third of 3 fights between Tripods and Glitch Gaming. They're both contesting here in Countdown. Glitch has them up 2-0 right now, but Tripods really should have won the last game. In my opinion.
Ooh. Oh yeah, okay. All right.
Bro,
any
guys,
other weird takes you want to have?
That's not a weird take. Horizon being broken is not a weird take. That's a very standard take. Here comes the fight, though.
All right, from this immediately Reed's picking off with a nice rotation. I will say, pinned on that door. A break of the shield might give at least Tripods the opportunity to recover in this small moment. But once again, they're losing out on height. They're losing out on this dominant spot. And with a head peak like that, Vayne once again is showing that he has come here to play today.
I just remembered that the Hemlock pops for 72 damage with the headshot with no helmet. That's insane. A ton of damage there for Vayne. Will they follow up on that? Well, no, they will by getting a knock. Again, Vayne continues to play so well. I've just been really, really impressed. Every time he watches POV, he is not missing. Nick goes down. Here comes the push, and it'll be 3 for 3 here, likely for GG, unless Tripods can flip the script and pull a 2v3 off on them.
Come on, Tripods. Straight from behind the knockdown shield. That Arcstar might provide a bit of damage back. It's Big Flesh found, but it's not before Gent is down. One major PK shot, and that will be all said and done. Tripods, 3 games in a row, 20th place finish. And now OLM, though, they know this has been taking place. They've come through to immediately third party.
Offline network, I'm going to call them. Here comes the push.
Ooh,
the shield swaps came in. The shield swaps came fast from Glitch Gaming. They're able to hit reset, get all the loot, a lot of the loot at least, and dip out. So nice job from Glitch. And OLN tries to catch them with their pants down. Can't even do that. Didn't 3-2-1 effectively. Didn't get the first knock and wasted their Seer ult. All for nothing. Nice job from GG.
That's honestly, that's one of the most impressive things I've seen here today. To get that quick of a rotation off when you are caught out from behind, and then you're not even in a sight line to exist in the future. I mean, that's very impressive. I was about to say, if I see a ton of teams in Geyser, that only means one thing. Deep pull directly into Geyser here. It looks like it will be heartily in this POI, and every time I see it, I say one thing. You got to be there to compete. You have to be within Geyser to make it to the end game. Teams that come in late, it's going to be a struggle bus.
It's like an arena. You know, the man in the arena, you got to enter the arena to have a chance to make it. Season gets taken out early for the hands of TSM and Oxygen. Here's CLG's Nano.
Oh.
He'll get knocked as well, and that's it for Season. And Sweet with the early knock on Nano means, hey, opportunity now for Energy to finish that 3v2 if they so choose to do. But with so many teams nearby, they're probably going to get third party. It's a wise decision not to do that, and they'll probably get banned and be able to reset as CLG. Maybe? Maybe not.
They've got Mamba with the bracelet reset coming in 5 seconds. Might be able to kind of extend over there. But with so many teams, like I said, forcing their way into Geyser immediately, I don't think it'll last much longer. Meanwhile, though, Madness caught from behind here. ESA, they come through lickety-split and find that initial knock. Once again, another squad here. MPS reduced to a duo. Oh, add in another party to the mix. Why not?
Yeah, this is quite the party here. It's quite the fiesta. Bit of a free-for-all is what it looks like inside Geyser. Every team vying for positioning, like you said. Here comes the first knock. Freck's going to get it on Golden. Presley gets knocked as well. That should be goodbye and good night here for E8 as SSG will capitalize. But no, Zenile goes down, leaving his teammates in a 2v1 with a couple teams third party nearby.
It's a bit of an issue here. You don't want to let him get that revive off. A very nice headshot found with the wingman. Just wrap around the side. All said and done here. Frex easily cleans up that fight. Meanwhile, we talked about NRG over on the side. Back towards that siphon area, picking up some early KP. Looks like they wrap through ESA, now trying to escape to the choke, and I don't think NRG's going to let him have it.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a knock here coming through from Mamba, and the full kill is going to come through as well. So basically, NRG shoot him out. And Mamba capitalized with the kill point to their name. And that's, by the way, oh, wow. Yeah, ESA completely eliminated. That's going to be some revenge coming through for CLG.
Yeah, Aberlele there to pick up that final KP in that last moment with the Havoc from afar. A little bit of the peak caught out there.
Shuby,
NRG.
See Shuby right there, center map?
Oh, yeah.
Or rat,
MPS. A little bit of the rat tactics. I can't tell you it bodes well, especially in a Seer meta. It makes me sad. I used to love rat tactics back in the day before we had the Scan Legends.
Some call them Rattergies.
Rattergies. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, I think it was an ALGS. Like, remember that girl that did like the voiceover in the ALGS? And
yes.
She was like, devious, notorious rat strats. Do you remember that?
I don't remember it. It's before my time.
Oh, man.
I'm a young man.
We make fun of that so hard. And that became Rattergies. Rat strats, Rattergies. Anyways, I digress.
I like that. Who knows? Maybe with the switch.
I'm talking about devious, notorious rat strats.
Season 16. Maybe they'll make a reappearance here. There's some Seer nerfs coming through. All right.
So they say. Supposedly everything's getting blown up next season is what has been hinted.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Anyways, we're on our way forward here, checking out some of these teams. 100 Thieves playing off on the choke, but let's look into Sentinels. Ratting.
Someone's about to get flossed on.
I'm gonna have to lemon on them.
They're not scanning us.
They have no idea. They're still fighting the other team.
You wanna come out this door?
I think we should go over here.
Crouching to it.
Oh, they're going to that door. Yeah, good shit.
Where am I? My way goes to the floor, bro.
Oh, I hear a wrecking ball. I'm not going any further.
Shit.
The fuck?
Bro, what is going on out there?
World's longest fight. It's Furia and a crypto team. Furia's on Hound, so if the fucking Hound's gonna hit us.
Ooh.
Alright, one just got knocked. Crypto just got knocked. Running into us. Kill this fucking pussy.
Oh, bitch.
Loba's one. Lily one.
50 flash.
Yes!
Shit, oh.
Back to the cave. Back to the fucking cave.
I'm barreling this, but yeah, you know.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it got my heart pumping just for seconds. Those rat strategies, the ratadries coming in for Sentinels just to pick up one little KP from 100 Thieves there. That is entertainment at its finest.
Yeah, that was gold. That was actual gold. The comms into the 1 KP they're able to pick up. Meanwhile, look how many teams are clumped here on West Geyser.
Gosh.
Oh man, that's going to be a very, very difficult rotate. But obviously, CLG and the guard the best position because they have the long buildings there, but that'll be a tough one.
Meanwhile,
to the cave.
yeah, back to the cave, back to the edge for now. OLN chasing down Furia. They've got them a bit split here. Now, obviously, I'm gonna have my fun casting them, chasing this one down, but I also just kind of want to put it out there. OLN gonna be coming in really, really late to Geyser play, which doesn't bode well for their position into the end game. We saw how congested it already is in that POI, and especially out there towards the east side, there's not a lot left to potentially work with some of these teams about to make major rotations.
Yep, you're spot on for every single team in the lobby except the teams there and except the last team that makes it by playing edge. I mean, there's going to be one edge team that survives, the king of the hill, if you will, that's going to find their way in and might have a chance to play for a win here, but we'll see which team that will be. I mean, you have Optic on the outskirts, you have OLN on the outskirts, not sure which other teams, but 15 squads remain in this lobby and about 8 of them already positioned in Geyser.
Optic and Luminosity, these might be that kind of late end game rotators. We'll have to see. They are expended a little bit of space on the south side here for quite a time period, which both of them with a redeploy could, come in and make their impressions. It's not the most guaranteed of plays here, but in a, POI that's already been kind of held out, what choice do you have?
Here comes the push. Mentioned only one team will survive in the edge rotate, or a few teams, maybe 2 or 3, depending what angle or zone you're coming from. Well, guess what? It's going to be either Optic or LG. This will be a fun fight with Noct and Skittle slowly pushing up here, but Luminosity doing a good job completely countering that steer out by just running away and finding a way to head glitch and survive. This fight will continue to stall.
I mean, Optic, they've lost out on that major kind of combo wombo to work out with that extra information instead. They're just straight into mod for now, right? And it might end up in that kind of tiered, that pancake situation. You do see the drop start to come through here from Luminosity, Wrecking Ball in tow, but there's just so much space available here in mod. They rotate up towards the top end. Drop's gonna take a chunk of damage. Ari trying to stick that bat out. One big climb. It could be sent done for Optic, but they do-si-do.
Oh my gosh,
wow.
Noct absolutely shredding. Drop's going to get taken out right after, though, to the Niazzle, so that's going to be a first knock coming through, but Noct did so much damage. Can he play off of that? I love this play from LG, outplaying, outfragging, and frying right now Optic Gaming, as Luminosity Gaming will win this one. OG eliminated, and that's what they do so well. They bait you into thinking you have an advantage, and then as soon as that's the case, that one player does such a good job surviving and using that bait as a chance to open up and break ice. Great job, well played from Luminosity.
I genuinely thought like we were going the other direction there. We both recognized it. What a love. I mean, the damage found there from Noct to introduce that fight. And then the minute they go for that push, it was all said and done. Now, I have to say, for Luminosity, might not fare much better. Designful Chaotic Aim Assist. They're coming in lickety-split up towards the upper high ground. Already, they source out just a little bit of the beginning, but they have given themselves away.
Biggest cojones in the world right now, Designful has. I was like, there's no way they push LG sitting on high ground, and they did. And here comes the push. LG gonna do nothing about it. Here comes the black hole immediately shredded. RE45 in Designful's hands. No wonder why he's confident. Look at the beams. But again, LG, the best wolf packing team in Apex, in my opinion, showing exactly why. That's 2 knocks, and they say, sit down, boys. Sit down, as LG picks up the 2 kills at least, maybe the 3rd.
There is no way in hell you are pressured into no space whatsoever. Singularity down here, and Luminosity still find a return. They catch out what I believe is that one member across, pick up the KP. Ooh. Now finally, this might be all said and done. They're going to try to push back in the tier. It is the 4th team coming into play. It's NRG, and Yanya's on the outside. He's found a knock on Nathan. He's not even with Luminosity.
Gets the shield swap. Are you kidding me? Yanya's playing out of his mind, but it isn't done yet. Needs to continue. Needs Niazzle to get there ASAP. Yanya with the Yark Star. Yeet! Almost gonna find some way for damage there, and he does. Oh! LG, led by Yanya. Are you kidding me?
Nathan, guild down, Sweet, the remaining member, Yanya, he solos here. He keeps the dream alive. The banner's back up for Jaguars, and just send him home. Send him home. Get him out of there. You're not allowed to play in the big house with LG.
Are you kidding me? This is like Yanya playing zombies back when we were like in 7th grade and on easy mode. These players are NPCs to them, and they're just cleaning up kill after kill after kill. Yanya making the play of a lifetime. I'd like to say it was the yeet. I said that with heart.
That arc star was so good.
It made the difference.
Yeah, it was all you. I have to say, Luminosity, big KP here, but it doesn't look like the fighting is stopping anywhere else on the map here. Glitch Gaming trying to find themselves a position as this zone we talked about making its way over and away from the western side of Geyser. They've got themselves a spot underneath, but Furia is also here as well.
Look at all these teams lined up right now. Panders out. Watson, Zera, last two alive, and guess what? LG's gonna enter this fight in a bit, and they are red hot right now. We'll see that in just a moment. Watson, maybe tagged up. Goodbye
That's
to
it.
Furia.
That's
top one team in the lobby. Top two teams, sorry, out. Energy out. So now TSM still alive, an opportunity, but LG looking to go back to back here. Here comes OLN with a push inside the cave, and they're gonna find an elimination on Sentinels, who get taken out as well. So OLN lives to fight with at least two players live, make it 3.
Might be that kind of late edge rotating team on the other side here in comparison. Luminosity Sentinels, they had the prime position to gatekeep. They were there the entire time, and they just could not pull off that straight 3v3 situation. Notably, as we do get this kind of overhead peak, Luminosity did not get any kind of revive on Jaguares there. They sadly weren't able to find what I believe could have been one of those instant redeploy revives to get that back in play. And that, I mean, that could make or break the difference here, because especially now that it's tightened up to just Geyser, I don't think you get that off.
And as we've seen, though, 2 players of LG is like 4 players of another team. I mean,
That's
3
true.
players at least.
It's true.
Even against pro players, I mean, they just clean wiped a 2v3. That was insane. Here comes Dark Zero looking to push a 3v3 against, I think that's CLG with a team of 2, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, there's 3 players there. I'm not sure what team it is. Yeah, there's 3.
Might be Oxygen, might be one more. We'll have to take a look back in a second. For now, though, DZ, they lose out on that Interceptor pylon, and it's a moment of success here for, yes, Oxygen to find that drop onto Zero, make the ordinance true, and they do get that information that the pylon is back up, but they know they're at a numbers advantage. They don't want to give away this central building. It's so good, especially in that eastern pole, but they know they need to clean up their backside. Jen Burton down, rotate from above, enemy with the burn. He'll leave the cleanup to Hill as Dark Zero are picked apart.
That's right. Enemy's insane as well. I mean, there's something about the Mexican Apex community that is so talented. Enemy, a Mexican-American player, so incredibly strong, has had such an impact on this team, his single addition. As these two teams are literally going to cross paths here, like 2 planes in the sky. LG, team of 2, and everyone's going to know it. They're going to take this position and use these Watson fences to their advantage, okay?
A little bit of some defensible area to work with. The drill's going to miss out for now, but I think they pick up this kill easily.
Huge.
Mamba, they spy that one out there. 6 squads remaining, mind you. We are heavily into the late game at this point. Early, I would say. Yanya and the crew from Luminosity, they still need to make their way forward here. Going to try to gatekeep within the zone. And while the Arcstar finds the drop onto Monsoon, he needs a little bit of assistance from TSM to find that wipeout. Now in the top 5, TSM make their way from outside their building, finally, to wipe out Luminosity.
That's right. The LG story comes to an end, but what a story it was. So well played right there for Luminosity. Kudos and hat off to them. Meanwhile, TSM, full team of 3. The guard finding great positioning here. I'm not sure where the zone is pulling, and it's not to them. So despite their good positioning, they're going to have to make a rotate here. They're going to have the crypto information to help.
Now, notably, it's going to be the guard and Oxygen losing out a little bit of space. Oxygen, they're a little bit more lucky. They have that south side rotate to play in a little bit closer in the zone. The guard, arguably in the hardest position here, because in front of them is OLN, who've been playing out from edge, who have that entrance from the caves that they're going to be playing defensively. And then, of course, TSM in the god spot, in the building, with it is their game to lose here.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. Advantage TSM. I mean, look at all the death boxes they have for shield swaps, all the natural cover that they have as well, and the zone's pulling their way. So either blessed or outsmarted is TSM with some good positioning. You decide. Reptar here doing some long-range damage. Poke on the guard, who's going to decide to take this 3v3 over Oxygen. They have to.
They know they have to clean this one up. They know that OL can't cross in front of TSM, so the straight 3v3 is guaranteed to drop onto enemy. Rambo is still alive. Love this from RK and from behind. The door may close, but he still finds a massive 89. Crook paying the price on the other side, and that Rampage does nothing there. No one goes down in that trade. The guard wipe out Oxygen, and they have height to themselves.
That was the most important point I was going to make, is they have to win this fight clean. I mean, maybe they didn't have to, because look, neither of these teams wanted to give up their good positioning. So even if they didn't, they'd be fine. But the fact that they did, even better. No wasted time. Rezzing and heals,
perfect.
shield swaps, they're in a great position right now. Perfect indeed. The guard might have a chance, but easily the worst
This is the
position
tough
team
part.
here.
Yeah, this is the hard part here.
Yeah.
OLN couldn't rotate up because TSM was watching them, so they knew they were safe to do that. But now that it is up against those two, the beams have already started to come out here. Rambo, the first to fall, gonna leave up Yon in their stead as well in the interior. An interceptor pylon is down. Halley is rotating quite far in the outskirts here, and RKN is stunted in his rotation. As a result, TSM get that wipe. OLN are still trying to slowly posture their way out of this cave, but look at how much space TSM have. They are covering all angles here.
That's right. It's a clean 3v3 with zone pulling fairly center, but easily, again, advantage TSM, like we said. The advantage continues. Smokes from Bangalore going to come through. That might just help OLN a little bit, but the Seer ultimate defensively going to be used. Where zone's pulling a little bit of an early Seer ult to counter the Seer ult that was placed before.
We'll have to see how it works out there. Obviously, Seer on Seer ult. That's, I mean, just a general handshake at this point in terms of that ulti, but it does spell that neither will have that information in the end game. OLN, they're testing things, though. Slowly inching further forward here, trying to take advantage. That singularity is expended. How? Wiping out immediately, and OLN crossing on the side here. They're going to find a knock onto Reps immediately, and no real burn is extended in trade. Naughty's going to stick that battery while TSM are shredded apart here. Oi up into the top and utilizing that grab lift right from behind, and it is just Hal in the corner as OLN are your winners against the odds.
OLN against the odds indeed. I mean, they had no business winning that fight. All TSM had to do was head glitch and gatekeep. They had shield swaps to their name, but the early knock on Reps ended up costing them. Massive, massive dub right there from OLN. Really well played.
I mean, fantastic from them. Spying out what we saw early, what was supposed to be a lot of zone space created. They play off of a little bit of second-based distraction. Notice how Hal, and of course their, my apologies, Verholst, the way they're positioned and where their focus is, especially as that singularity comes out, allows OLN to swoop in literally just a few feet forward to realize that Reps is in his lonesome. And even though Reps finds that really good response onto Naughty there, it's not enough. In a straight 3v3 with these kinds of pro players, the job is basically said and done. I'm telling you right now, had TSM had complete, distinctive zone control, full focus on the exit out there, that would have never happened.
Yep, that's a great point. OLN, though, they always talk about the passion, the grind for Stay Naughty. It's good to see him with some teammates I think he's excited to continue to grow with. We'll see how they will continue to progress, but they certainly needed that game. 17th place with 17 points, I believe. Actually, no, that was going into round game 8. So, yeah, I think around that placement was where they were at. That'll certainly help them, give them a chance or at a top 10 running. And in the end, a 3v3 win against TSM certainly going to give them a confidence boost at least.
Well, and with that big win there, are going to finish out with 19 total points alongside their 7 KP there. TSM, though, even though they finish at least in second, they still rack up a really, really nice spread of points, which notably, if we shift our attention back down to the bottom half of the leaderboard, look at that. Or, well, Energy's in 9th. Energy and Furia not really putting up the same level of points that they need to stay above TSM. This might be this final, actual point where we see TSM for the first time in a while surpass these two rosters.
I think they will. But the most impressive thing for me on this list, Luminosity in 3rd with 12 kills, only 4 placement points, but still 16 overall points to continue their trend upwards and put them at 68 points, I believe, is where they will stand. That should get them within the top 6, top 5. So again, the dark horse, baby. We called him for a reason. I had him in my top 3 originally. Maybe I should have stuck with it. I called Fury and NRG to stay put. Instead, LG says Fallout. Patience, my friend. Kamate. You got to hold your confidence in us because we're going to continue to perform here when it matters. And LG certainly doing that.
Right, even with the deficit yesterday, I'm happy I'm sticking with TSM. I'm feeling it. I think I'm more than confident, even though when we come back from this break, we will be switching to Storm Point for our final 3 games. You won't want to miss it.
Let's get it.
Does spell that neither will have that information in the end game. Oh, and they're testing things, though. Slowly inching further forward here, trying to take advantage. That singularity is expended. Hal wiping out immediately, and Olan crossing on the side here. They're going to find a knock onto Reps immediately, and no real burn is extended in trade. Naughty's going to stick that battery while TSM are shredded apart here. Oi up into the top and utilizing that grab lift right from behind, and it is just Hal in the corner as OLN are your winners against the odds.
OLN.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Oversight playoffs here for Split 2. We are underway and into our final 3 games, our last map that we will see as these teams are all said and done here. Stormpoint making its introduction.
That's right, we're wrapping up with the best map in competitive Apex in my eyes. Love me some World's Edge, but Stormpoint certainly is fun to watch. I'm excited for this one as we will be jumping into our last 3 games. Games 10, 11, and 12 in this series to determine the winner of the Split 2 playoffs here for Oversight. I am beyond excited. And a big thank you to Hyperlux for supporting the best esports platform out there, for supporting Apex Legends with this entire series. It's been fun to watch.
Absolutely here, and it's not often that we get to talk about the kind of double-digit realm of games here. To think that these teams have played this many is a thought within itself here. But before we get into the game, obviously we do want to touch on that overall leaderboard. My big question was, where does TSM present themselves? It's right on top, baby! 2 points above NRG. It's nothing to write home. It's not the gap that they need just yet, but they finally do it. Now they just have to maintain no bias.
Oh man, I hope this doesn't happen. You're not gonna let me live it down.
Never.
Al's gonna tweet
Never.
making fun of Sweet. It's gonna be dramatic. Please, NRG, wake up. I need you to wake up for my own sake, for of mental health, because this man Zephyr's never gonna let me hear the end of it.
I'll let you ever hear the end of a lot of things, and the fact that you didn't pick TSM for once in your life is an oddity. Okay, all right. You're sleeping. You're sleeping. You're on the off-season sleeper grind.
I don't know about that much, but I'll let you have it. First, we got 2 games left. All right, stop with the false confidence.
All right.
Stop with the false confidence.
I'm having my fun. I'm always confident. Come on. Either way, TSM's still in the lead, but it's not really that much. NRG and Furia are well within a single game, and even to say the least of Oxygen in the guard at 77 and 71 can make that up in just 1 game alone here. It gets a little bit more dicey as we go 6th and further down, but with 3 games left on the board, I mean, it's still anybody's race here.
Yeah, that's right. It was a 2-horse race coming into today, but like we said, in the pregame, it's going to be a much different story once we get the last 2-3 games, and that's certainly come to fruition here. We have 5 teams with potential to take a first place spot now, which you like to see. I mean, Fury and Energy, though, my question to you is, where are you? I mean, wake up. You need to. We've seen some good things from Furia. We haven't seen a whole lot from NRG. I mean, they get the first blood and get the first knock on LG and lose that fight. I want to see them play with some confidence. I want to see them have a short-term memory, shake off those last few games, and pop off these last 3.
Yeah, it's been a little bit rough kind of seeing how they're playing out the end games because they really haven't had the opportunity. That last game alone, right? Furia coming in, swooping in late after being picked off in part by OLN on the north side. NRG with, in all fairness, should have been a cleanup against Luminosity, get absolutely obliterated in a very mystical situation there.
That's right. And it's the thing you love about Apex. It's not shoulda, it's shoulda, woulda, coulda in a lot of ways. Because the reality is you can win a 2v3. You can clutch, you can outperform, outplay. You can't really do that in a lot of other games where it's first shot, first kill most of the time. Not necessarily in Apex, especially when you have players like Yanya making some hero plays.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they can maintain it. Obviously, for Luminosity themselves, it has been a slight evolution of this roster, and I like the fact that going into playoffs, they were kind of written off a long time ago as just this aggressive entity. They've clearly shown they can dominate, they can slow the pace up, they can make decisive action, and even when it calls for it, bring out the wolves and find the heat in 3v3s.
We're going to have a northwest zone pull and finish, which I know teams like the Guard highly prefer with early rotates. I know Old FaZe would drop down Beast. Interested to see between CLG and ESA which team will be dropping there, who will be dropping in down Beast. TSM in the wall is going to favor this zone. So again, keep riding that TSM train, Zephyr, because it's going to be a good situation for them with this zone, at least so far here in game number 10.
We'll see here. What I'm more interested in, though, of course, is obviously as we introduce a new map here, we come back to some of these early drop spots and some of the early contests. We were obviously discussing what was glitch gaming versus tripods for such an extended period here. This is the first time that I think tripods are going to have the opportunity to actually extend past their initial POI and have some level of action as they find their way all the way down towards Southside.
Look at this early contest that we shall see.
Oh my gosh.
They want that blue shield, and they didn't get it. Dark Zero. It's going to be Optic who wins this fight, at least so far, so good, as DZ just forced to run with their tail between their legs.
What? That is as contesty as it gets. Literally the same pills there. Dark Zero playing with what they get off drop. Sharky will pay the price, and it doesn't last much longer. Why not? Kick him out. Kick him to the curb.
Optic says, don't you dare. We've been dropping here since the game started on Storm Point, okay? Don't you dare try and take our drop spot. Meanwhile, over in Cenote Cave, we got a little bit of action. We got ESA tripods with OLN just north. That old Cloud9 drop spot still living strong with Naughty.
Now, obviously here, the thing I like about Cenote Cave is in comparison to Countdown, which is where we saw at least tripods in the past, I think there is more expansive rotations that are allowed. And so if tripods find themselves in a bad situation, they can pull back. They can pull back way more decisively. So even though they are going to look to aggress upon this straight 3v3 against ESA, they have options.
That's a good point. Purple shields. Oh my gosh. No more. No more purple shields. With one shot from afar. Has a triple take in hands. If it's not a 30-30 repeater, it's a triple take in his hands. Looks like killer hit reset. They got to be careful because OLN, just north of them, could easily come in third party of this fight.
Yeah, that's the rough thing in any kind of early game thing. You need to assume speed. Right, at any given chance. I was once talking to a coach. It's been so long now, but he gave me a literal time period. He said, if you don't complete within this amount of seconds at this stage of the game, you might as well never take the fight because you're just asking to potentially get walked up upon here. And I will say, I mean, we talk about rotations. There is no tripods to be seen. ESA are allowed to walk free.
Yeah, and I actually like that note from the coach there. Because that is so incredibly true. I mean, it's actually very, very relevant to traditional sports. As a quarterback, you have to have a mental clock in your head for how long you have in the pocket. Same kind of scenario here. Mental clock of how much time you have, or a physical clock, if you can keep it, maintain it in your head at least. And yeah, I think that's a really, really wise wisdom. But here he goes. The zone is pulling northwest, as we predicted and talked about. And TSM and RG with some early rotates, Oxygen doing it, through the water.
Yeah, bit of the drift. Actually, quite an extensive rotation all the way down towards the south there. Oh, what might be our first 3v3 split here. Sentinels matching up immediately. A bit of distance at least spares some life for now. Tyler is pressured back, going to have to extend the bat. And I think they'll continue to aggress with this reset coming in here in a moment. They know they've got a really nice split here on the rock back. While it isn't red on that explicit exhibit, they have the option.
Great damage. Breaking shield right there is Thenox, but Aiden goes down right after to a sniper. It's going to be Shiny getting the knock on Aiden from afar. So I don't know if that was necessarily Aiden's mistake or just a play that was made by Shiny.
Yeah, right
Shiny
there.
was back quite literally against the wall, made a huge one.
Yeah, literally point blank rage finishes the job there. Meanwhile, Energy defending their spot in down beast. Looks like they pick up, I believe, Season on their rotation in. Just keeping you updated there. Aiden is extended into a revive as Tyler, our boy from across the sea, is putting up defense here. Shiny down. Senox back up. That Amp Sentinel ready to play. Living up, hopefully, to the name of this roster. No shots just yet. But this is a bit of an issue. Look towards that north side.
Yeah, Vex is holding down this high ground as much as he possibly can, but not enough. It's like Fort Knox here, but finally going to give it up to the opponents, where it's going to be E8 on the third party. Looks like Team Shiny is going to be able to hit a little bit of a reset. Nice job from Tyler right there. That's the reason that they got out of that, because Tyler was able to single-handedly play a solo, force them to push him, and say, good luck pushing me, I'm going to knock you right away, and allow his teammate to get the res.
Meanwhile, back down here towards the south, we talk about ESA on their rotation out from Cenote K. They continue to match up into a bit of action as Oxygen wiped out by Optic in our kill feed here. Point blank rage, sniped down, trying to extend across the corner. At least Phony, though, with that flat, does find the knock on Degent. You've got Glitch Gaming extending their own damage. It looks like tripods are all said and done here in a second.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be ESA.
Yeah.
And Glitch Gaming both joining the fray. And Snapdown goes down right after, though. Will that be a chance for Glitch Gaming to push off this damage? Guess who's nearby? OLN as well, coming off a hot win in this last game. They need a really, really insane, monstrous type of last 3 games that they want a shot. You got to see teams like OLN playing a little aggressive here.
We'll see. Obviously, Glitch Gaming, they're the ones on the kind of aggressive foot forward. They know for a fact that they've already pressured ESA back, but they don't actually source out where they had gone. Looking at least that back end there, you can see that tunnel open. It's likely that ESA have pulling back towards the drop right into the interior of Cenote Cave, and they're going to look for their own kind of rotation in where, hey, they might be gate kept against OLN.
Yeah, I talked about earlier, as we were loading into the game, as the dropship was flying, the guard loves these zones. This is why. Early rotate, finding the same position that they always love to take here in these downed beast finishes. So the guard likes their chances. I like their chances as well. They need a good game. 5th place, 71 points. They're starting to kind of fall behind with a 20-point deficit to TSM in 1st place with 91. NRG in 2nd place with 89. Furia in 3rd with 84. But Furia's only gotten like 7 or 8 points total. Same with NRG, if even that, so far today. This is all from yesterday. Meanwhile, Vayne, see you later.
I don't know how that situation ended up playing the way it did there, but landing right in all 3. Glitch Gaming likely on their way out here. We know Luminosity, they didn't quite win, but they are amped after that last game. Right from behind, Jaguares with the drop onto Demi. Make it potentially one more. That scan coming through. Doesn't quite reveal position just yet, but they've got the tracking underway.
That's right. And they got spam wall hacks, courtesy of Bloodhound. Reed's going to run into zone and just try his heart out, survive. Meanwhile, we know OLN's nearby. Vayne gets taken out, and LG, well, they want this last kill.
Rotating around the other side here. Hazel, I mean, it's just all said and done.
Right, but guess who's nearby? We mentioned OLN, and here they are. Almost getting at least a shield crack. Missed a couple shots there. Would have liked that. Would have liked that one back. And that's not the 3-2-1 that they wanted to start that fight. And no one is nearby except for ESA deep in Cenote Cave right now. So they got the res. OLN, LG, ESA likely won't do a whole lot. They'll try and craft and get to decent shields. But really, this is a clean 3v3 for quite some time here between these two teams. I don't think either team is going to take it, though.
Wow. What an interesting... a lot of teams in down beast, but up there here towards... Yes, the north. You've got this extent. TSM still playing in the pads building here. 100 Thieves with their redeploy. Everyone just kind of slow playing out towards the edge here. Now, obviously, next zone read just barely coming in there gives way that this is going to be as hardy of a down beast POI. But this kind of late rotation, I mean, this is very difficult to defend against, especially with NRG right on your heels.
No way to get out of this. I mean, they're quite literally in no man's land right now with NRG having the easy chance at 3 KP. They'll find 2, but no, Nocta's going to take one of them.
Yeah, Optic have set themselves up on this height. I was going to make mention of it moments before, and as a result, they actually pick up 2 of that KP, having the better angles to work with. NRG, they have extended themselves a little bit far forward here. Nathan and Sweet trying to work their way back, playing off of that smoke, but MPS and Across from that other eastern end are doing a great job pressuring them. I think they are into safety, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Nathan, are you crazy? You just saw how absolutely shambles 100 Thieves was, and you're gonna put yourself in the same shamble-like position. He's lucky. He got away with murder right there. He wanted the loot real bad. Got it. Barely got away. Nathan survives to see another day. Zeratricky, Watson, and Panders here in a fight. But 1 or 2, maybe 3 teams are nearby. They gotta be careful. I know TSM's one of them.
Meanwhile, aim assist, they were on height of down B's. You can see in that kill feed there. It looks like Sentinels found, taking away that spot. So now likely the team when we reapproach down B's on that height there. Yeah,
there it is.
There they are. And NRG have heard this fight. They found that initial knock. Tyler and Aiden going to be defending with what might be a recovery on his Senox, but with that rolling thunder coming through, it could hopefully push them back, but it's not enough. Not enough.
Shots from nearby. Wide right gives them a chance to push up, and they know their knock is there. Oh, almost got the kill is sweet, but this is a really clean opportunity for NRG to maintain its high ground here. They got some help from afar and not able to get the kill points. They do get the final elimination on Senox. I don't know who got the knock, though, for the kill. Here's the aim assist death boxes we talked about earlier. So it's going to be Sentinels that have to drop from high ground, somehow get a building and survive for now. CLG playing trenches right alongside TSM, only the blue shields to their name.
And that's kind of them taking their time out here towards the edge. We'll have to see how they fare. Meanwhile, we tune in with Fury. Let's take a listen in this fight.
Yeah, he's gonna peek, Pan. I'm with me. Crack both.
Yeah, I killed. Dude, killed him. I'm popping a bat. I'm popping bat. Low ground.
This kid's one. Yep. Where? In front of me.
I'm with you.
He's actually one.
Swing with me. Yep.
I need to heal. Yeah, let him heal. I'm going for it though, Pan.
Pop a fucking bat again. Good swing with me, Zara. That was fucking fire.
Prowler's OP, dude.
Yeah, dude, we were cooking with the Prowler, bro.
I need meds, bro.
Oh my god.
Hey, that's what happens when you let them cook. Let Panders cook with that Prowler there. We talked about it earlier today. The little bit of extra damage to work with now on that SMG, and it pays the price there in that 3v3.
That's right. Meanwhile, the same continued fight that we knew would come down between OLN and LG is starting to linger. Meanwhile, we have ESA right behind them still. I think they were spotted out, though. The way OLN's playing, the little arrows are moving. I feel like they're looking back towards ESA. Or do they have no idea that ESA is about to 3-2-1 them?
Oh, if they sneak in from behind the mill there, I mean, it is the prime position.
God.
They are on height. I have to wonder, how is their med situation doing that late into zone constantly? They have not made it into it. I do want to take note of the zone. You can't avoid it. When it pulls to down beast like this, it does extend all the way towards this western side. We've seen this finish multiple times. And Optic, they called it. They've been here since the very, very beginning, and now they just have to defend it until the end. They already picked up that extra KP on that 100 Thieves rotation. We'll see if they can do a little bit more here in the future.
That's right, Furia now. Tune in to play Edge, work their way over into another 3v3 fight here. I believe it's a clean one. Not sure what team is in front of them. May have missed it on screen, but nonetheless, good position here. And as it's Furia looking to pick up a couple more kill points. Meanwhile, ESA still in zone. They crafted as many meds as they possibly could. Finally realized, oh, thank God we can take the spot. We can breathe for a second at least. If ESA gets top 3 in this game, I'll lose my mind.
I mean, coming in as late as they are, it's going to take some really good luck. And hopefully, teams just not paying attention, not really even thinking that there's someone who is extending their time that far out. As you can see, most teams are already kind of here. And as we look kind of towards that south side, I'm noticing a lot of these buildings are particularly open. E8 tried to take one, and they were immediately picked out from high ground. Sentinels finding 2.
That's right. Meanwhile, should see what's going on in the checkpoint fight with Furia, but for now, Shiny going to get some banners here if he can, but no, his drone is stuck. He's going to be in not a good position in the belly of the down beast, and that's going to be likely it for Shiny here in just a moment. 12 squads remain in this game. Yeah, he's doing his best.
Caught from both
wall
sides.
bounce. Okay.
It's tough. Well, Stevie manages to survive. Meanwhile, TSM slowly working their way forward alongside CLG here, both slowly inching across from each other in parallel action. Hal trying to take some angles. See if he's got open implication, but as his last bat comes through here, I mean, doesn't get that off trade.
Yeah. Is that a Rampart shield I saw or a Newcastle shield? I think I saw some hit markers damage of
Newcastle.
Okay, it wasn't Newcastle. Okay.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no way, no shot. Someone's G-Dolphin right now. Meanwhile, the guard had to leave their spot. And guess what? It's NRG's sweet. Absolutely melted 0 to 100 real quick for Sweet. Did he get a knock, though? Yes, he did. Nathan cleans up, and the guard going to be cleaned up by Nathan and the rest of the NRG squad. Well played.
Meanwhile, TSM back to them, slowly inching their way forward. I like this. Reps and Verhulst extending towards at least a bit of the trenches here. They distract with that, my apologies, grab lift coming through from Hal, but no real damage is sustained. No real rotation here. Just, once again, slowly taking away foot by foot here as now, there we go. Verhulst on height, maybe a little bit of gas, but they've got dominant position in this building ahead now.
That's right. Here comes push Arcstar down, and they say maybe, just maybe, we can use this caustic gas to stay alive for now, but nope, Nano's going to get taken out by the hands of Reps. 3v2, clean up those barrels, and this should be a pretty clean cleanup for TSM, but they got to be careful for third parties.
A bit difficult here. They know they have to just force their way into the gas before it comes back to bite them. They are able to finish the job, but it is at the expense of 2 here. If it wasn't for the fact that they're so far away from this zone pull, it would be an instant third party. Meanwhile, though, kill feed, we do see Furia eliminated at the hands of Luminosity. Their south rotation does find its way into checkpoint.
And that was the only worrisome thing for me, for TSM fans. Is there a team coming from that north checkpoint choke that decided not to take a fight? But the fact that Fury just got taken up by LG tells me they went south, and there it is. LG in the south checkpoint choke. We'll win that fight. We'll survive. OLN makes a rotate through as well. ESA, some way, somehow, alive and well. When you see 2 Loba ults, maybe Seer ults down as well.
I have no idea. That's such a that is such a far rotation from the fact that they were deep into south side. Once again, though, that zone, we take a look at it. We knew it was pulling west, but it is even more decisively right on top of Optic. It looks like we're going to get one member of Luminosity back into the game this time around. Not happening like last time where we saw them lose out on 1, and that was that kind of resounding nail in the coffin for Luminosity.
This is interesting. NRG gatekeeping TSM against Balak of the leaderboards right now, where we have TSM in first by 2 points, NRG in second. Their rivals, Sweet Dreams and Hal, arguably the 2 best IGLs in North America. Well, this could be big. If NRG takes out TSM and wins this game, I get to tell Zephyr I'm better than him at predicting Apex Legends. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll have to see how it fares, but for now, the fight on the interior is what we care about. ESA, they actually make their way back from the building to find 2. Madness and Pow Pow down here, and 1 looking for escape. I think job's done. They've resoundingly taken away the belly of the beast for themselves. They've got that next rotation now available, and up, there it is. Verhulst sniped out of the sky on what was going to be a redeploy. I don't even dare try to take the try there.
Hal zooms away in the whip, leaving Verhulst for meat, and he's gonna get taken out. Hal is like 5 HP, probably got taken out right after, so NRG's gonna do it. Should be enough. Take out TSM, or at least put them in shambles enough for TSM not to make it to late game, but we'll keep a close eye on that because I haven't seen them get eliminated in the kill feed yet. Meanwhile,
did it work?
Yeah, right? Can you imagine? There it
no,
is.
No,
Finally,
there we go.
Like,
There's no way.
Oh, man. But ESA's pretty alive and well. They got the refresh needed in terms of loot boxes. I'm like what I'm seeing right now. NRG playing this game super well, though. Look at the damage right here. Sweet.
I am curious about Luminosity. We were going to talk about them a moment ago, and they pick up Shubitubi. What a better transition, right? They find their way into that building. It's not in zone, just on that kind of western side, but I think in comparison to everyone playing out of Down Beast right now, it has one of the better rotations alongside Sentinels, who are also pushing for this western end. If they take this one away, that is huge.
Nades question mark? One nade, you can breathe on him, he'll get knocked. Is Skittle Cakes, but he's going to be able to reset.
Oh my gosh.
And get back to full. That's crazy. I mean, this is a really fun late game here. So much cover to work with, and unlike other late game zones, you wouldn't really say one team has a clear advantage.
No, not with the split ending up like it is right now, given the fact that it allowed Sentinels to find their entry point in. What is nice, though, is that focus here in the next, 60 is going to be back towards the Down Beast. So for Optic Sentinel, it's the perfect option.
That's right. Meanwhile, ESA making a play on NRG. NRG doesn't know. They get caught with their pants down. Can they react? Yes, they do. Luda gets shredded. He manages to stay alive. You've done enough, Luda. Let his teammates finish. They need to. Luda on controller. Looking to push wide left here. Oh my gosh. Between literally right around a wall from his opponents, and Nathan's going to get the kill.
Nathan with that drop onto Luda, entries for what will be those final 2 members, and with the full reset on their health, it's the perfect opportunity to clean things up here. They haven't done so, though. Why? Zone is moving. They know they need to start securing this next rotation forward, and from this leg of the Down Beast, I mean, we saw what happened to 100 Thieves right in front of them earlier on in this game. I can't imagine it goes much better.
Here we go, 2 Titans. It's going to be NRG and Optic forced to fight each other. They're
So
going to find
good.
some cover here,
So
avoid the
good.
Bangalore ult. But for now is the question. As Sweet drops it, is going to force Optic perhaps to play and fight. If that Bangalore ult stun hits them, that's an opportunity for NRG to push.
At the end of the day, they managed to make that rotation through the smoke there. And ESA, they themselves late to the party here, picked off in tow. It's going to be Sweet, notably, who picks up the knock. And oh, Optic go for the drop. They actually go below to take that first knock. Knocked and dropped down to Fletch. Sweet wrapping around the corner, at least finds one. Skittle Cakes on the outside, now to the bow check. Legolas in the air here. A reload on the flat line. A beam into Flesh here. What again is he doing?
It's a 1v1 and Dropped is going to win it. Takes out NRG. 3 squads remain. Can they get the res is the question. Because OLN is doing the same thing. Optic is going to have some time bought for them and they'll reset to full.
Sentinels here, they are the big winners right now. They don't know that they're in such a dominant position. They should be taking so much space right now. They should be playing this forward. Instead, they're letting OLN and Optic from below get massive resets off.
Bangalore saves the day.
Oh.
Those smokes bought them time and cover, but Optic gets taken out. A Sivian gonna find 2 knocks here, and it'll be OLN versus Vexed, aka Sentinels. Tyler's representing this Vex squad for my boy Zephyr here, who I knew is a big fan. 3v3 for the bread here, but Dropped is gonna rat his way, maybe do a second.
Oh, we'll have to see here. We've seen the drop take place before, and what was Energy? Optic, we'll see if they can learn some lessons from the past, but I like this. They understand that there's still 3 ready to go, that there is a rat somewhere, and they pull back for now. I don't want to see a climb take place. That would be massively detrimental, but I like the restriction. They don't want to get come up from behind and then a wrench is thrown in their plans. And there, they found it. They found him.
Yeah, I don't know if OLN, Sentinels found him. OLN did. So finally he's gonna get the info. There's the wingman shots, and see you later, Drop. Last member of Optic eliminated to be a 3v3. Our game of arenas here for Aiden, the arena's destroyer.
Now, OLN, I like that in that time period, realizing they're pulled back. Immediately use that grab lift straight into the Digi-Site smoke here with the wingman. It doesn't quite connect, but they still find knocks onto Aiden. The rest of OLN arriving to finish the job and pick up their 2nd win today.
Huge. Insane. Back-to-back dubs for OLN. If that doesn't do anything, but at least it gives them confidence. I mean, but look, there's still 2 games to go. They have a chance from all the way down in 13th place, OLN, to maybe break into the top 5 if they can continue this consistency. Welcome to top-tier professional Apex, Asivian, and welcome back, the opposite end of that spectrum, to Reptar. It's good to see him competing again, and this team is looking great.
Yeah, this is the best performance we have seen out of this roster, not just here in Oversight, but in recent weeks as a whole. A fantastic showing in these last 2 games here, even though they kind of approached this fight a little bit later. We never really got to see their transition out and away from the down beast, but I'll tell you what, it paid off. It got risky. There was a moment, remember, they were down to just 1 last standing member. Had Sentinels saw that at any given point, that would have been it.
Insane. We thought Optic was well positioned there, well rotated, but the push from NRG ended up doing a lot of damage to them. They clutched up though. Nice shot to Dropped in this final 2v1. Skittle with the bow, close range, not what he wants. But Drop clutches up and cleans it up. But as a result, guess what? It's going to be the OLN squad that comes wide right, capitalizes on the damage, gets the kills on Optic, and then wins the 3v3 clean against Sentinels. And that's a big misplay from Sentinels in my eyes. They still walk away with 19 points. So who's got the final laugh? But Sentinels easily could have cleaned up those fights on multiple occasions.
Yeah, I think they kind of playing a little bit more restrictive towards themselves, not being as aggressive as they could have. I mean, really sealed their fate in the end, especially as they pulled back as far as they did. You knew Dropped was just one individual on Optic. You did not have to pull the whole roster away. That led to the perfect grab lift being allowed from OLN, guaranteeing them the win, finishing them off in 22 points overall. Another fantastic finish.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm excited to see where they stand in the overall leaderboards, but another good game from Luminosity as well. I mean, another double-digit point game. That's 3 in a row for them, and they're slowly creeping up that leaderboard. It's the most LG thing I've seen. Going to do it in such a dramatic fashion. They're turning way up. But NRG also with 17 points. So this is getting a fun little caster's prediction competition here as both of our teams have been performing here. Oh, sorry, Energy hasn't been performing until just now.
We'll see. When we come back from our break, we'll take a look at that leaderboard where I'm more than sure Energy are now on top. Stick around for Game 11.
Finally, he's going to get the info. There's the wingman shots, and see you later drop. Last member of Optic eliminated to be a 3v3. Our game of arenas here for Aiden, the arena's destroyer.
Now, OLN, I like that in that time period, realizing they're pulled back. Immediately use that grab lift straight into the DigiSite smoke here with the wingman. It doesn't quite connect, but they still find knocks onto Aiden. The rest of OLN arriving to finish the job and pick up their second win today.
Huge. Insane. Back-to-back dubs for OLN. If that doesn't do anything, but at least it gives them confidence. I mean, but look, there's still two games.
Howdy, howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Oversight playoffs. We are 2 games to go to resolving what is the largest North American tournament here outside of ALGS. I'm Zephyr. That's Fallout. Let's take a look at that overall leaderboard.
I'm just surprised you got the pointing right. I always mess that up. I'm pointing the opposite direction. You're an ace in the hole, my man. 106 points for NRG, back on top where they belong. We'll see if they can keep it there, though, as TSM's right behind him with 10 points behind. Furia, again, less than 10 to 15 points today. Overall, a really, really quiet second half of the series to them. We'll see if they can light it up in the last 3 games, but Luminosity breaks into that top 4.
Yeah, coming through at the very end of the tournament here. One really good game could easily push them into top 3 or further with 2 games to go here. Oxygen falling a little bit. The guard as well. Optic, though, slowly sneaking their way in, albeit it wasn't a win for them. Their performance in surviving up until that late game there does allow them to now be in a much more competitive position for prizing.
Yeah, meanwhile, can we give some energy to the tripods, please? So someone, give them some life support, something. Triple donuts, actually quadruple donuts here. They haven't scored a point in the second half of the tournament, but we'll see if they can do something. But nonetheless, OLN is my story. Back-to-back wins for them, and whether or not they can do it in these last 2 games, we'll see. I hope they can keep it up. Ultimately, though, those 2 games show that they can compete with the best of the best. Is going to give them all sorts of confidence going into quals for Split 2 playoffs. And overall, I'm really excited to see what this OLN roster can do.
I think that's an incredible statement, too, especially looking towards the future of what that roster is going to be capable of when you start matching them up in things like Pro League, hopefully, as they have their own results to spare there as well.
Yeah, that's right. Either way, like to see Naughty. You would like to see Naughty back on top. Not you like.
Yes.
You would like to see it if he can do it. It's a big if. He still has a lot to prove. One of the most passionate and grindy players and pro players in Apex. We'll see if he can work his way back to the top after a disappointing season with Cloud9. But nonetheless, next game is here and ready. Let's take a look at the selection screen, see if we'll see anything different as we go into game number 11. 2 more to go.
Everything semi-standard here. Really, the only major things that stand out to me is CLG running old school comp there with the Gibraltar and Caustic Valkyrie, something that sounds like year 2 instead of year 3. But we'll see how it makes its impact as our dropship makes its way through in our penultimate game.
That's right. See where the zone will pull. I don't know if I may have missed on that map there. I was zoned out for, speaking of zone. Zoned out for a second. We saw a northwest zone in the last game, which again benefited a lot of teams like NRG, TSM, Optic dropping Mill with early rotates. And then, of course, you saw some edge teams find a way to survive and make it as well. So kudos to them as we take a nice little peek at Jurassic Park.
I hate that zones can't end here. I've always thought that this would be one of the coolest end zones to have, and when I found out that it's one of the excluded, end places, it's always made me sad. You always get to see the edge of Jurassic Park, but never quite the beasts themselves, never the prowlers.
You learn that from some data mining. Really intense data mining.
I've learned that from casting over 600 plus games of Apex. That's how I know that. All right.
Trick. Yeah. No. Data mining in the maps that literally revealed which excluded zones didn't do it. Here we go. Another fight here.
All right.
Between Optic and Dark Zero, and Optic actually gives up the center pills, which gives all of his blue and purple colorful shields to Dark Zero here. Maybe he had a bad drop. I'm not sure what the situation was, but DZ should be able to get the revenge.
I mean, we'll take a listen in and see exactly where they are.
I can fight.
Dropping a flatline.
I can fight. I can fight. We have blue. It's fine. I'm going forward. I have 2 cell.
Yep. Hey, so. I can drop you some.
Let them run. Doesn't matter. You got me 2.
Dropping 2.
They're here. Scanning back.
I've got 2 cells. One on the right.
Go take up left. Get the roof.
Yep.
Yeah.
King up.
Killed me. They're inside the room, I think. I don't have nades.
I can't jump over this. Look.
I can nade off the door. I'm just
outside left. They're gonna queue. They're gonna try queue.
Okay.
Yep, ready.
I'm scanning now. Yeah.
30 on horizon.
I'm swinging left.
Okay.
Got naded. 86 on the 86 on the block.
I'm getting the inside. I'm getting armed and fighting.
Yeah.
I got stunned.
I'm with you. I'm with Zero. I'm not with you yet, actually.
Selling. I'm inside. Wait.
I'm top.
I can queue up. Where are they?
Top with
I
you.
wanna see him. Scanner 1. Outside the roof.
I can queue up.
Yeah, queue.
I don't.
They're
They're far right.
Far outside.
45.
Up.
Selling. You wanna get left?
I'm in a bad spot. I smoked myself.
Yeah.
I'm going back inside. I'm gonna heal my boat.
I have no cells.
I don't have a bat.
No.
No.
They're gonna drop on doorway. I'm playing around this white top.
I have horizon IQ.
Oh, you got an ultic cell.
Horizon 40. We should hold this.
Scanning 4.
We should queue up. They have blood and all with smoke.
I naded there.
We should queue up.
Yeah, okay.
Behind us.
Cracked horizon.
Oh, he's fucked.
That is such bad timing. As soon as I walk out, they're both behind me.
Another ultic cell.
Wow. An extended fight here, and Optic still managed to claim home to the mill there for such a long period of time. Dark Zero truly tried to sniff out exactly what to do, but they are pressured against the wall into a situation, and the minute one is caught out alone, it is all said and done.
Yeah, that's right. Look, Dark Zero, such a talented team, but their talent doesn't necessarily rely on early game 3v3 in-your-face fights, right? You have 2 keyboard and mouse players. They're not necessarily as prone to wanting to take those fights. Instead, Optic, a very dominant fighting team in those scenarios. Dark Zero really thrives when they can slow the game down. I mean, that caustic meta that worked so well for them in the back-to-back LAN championships, not necessarily going to help them in those early 3v3s.
Well, we'll see how they fare into their last and final contest at the mill. Our zone's pulling north, but speaking of contests, before we get into this fight, I just want to say it. Tripods won finally. Tripods finally found their early fight. They actually took out ESA, and that should be praised in itself.
It's because I called them out, I said we gotta give them their energy, we gotta life support. Thank you, chat, for the life support that you gave them. They needed it. Finally finding some kills themselves, obviously get back in the swing of things after not having practiced or played a lot of Apex last couple weeks, at least for Nick's sake. Nonetheless, we'll see if Tripods, who do have an invite to Pro League in Split 2, will be able to get their groove again over the next couple weeks as Split 2 Pro League starts in a couple months. But meanwhile, NRG find themselves in a fight here over towards north of Down Beast.
I like this. I like the rotate up towards height. They've got to acknowledge exactly where the angles are on them, and as a result, that is a split difference, and that's a CLG if I've seen anything. There's only one Gibraltar that I know of immediately into the dome there. They face drops onto Nathan and more.
Massive. That's massive for CLG to take out NRG. TSM fans can rejoice as the guard's going to also enter the fight.
Yeah.
Gilderson's goes down as well, and just like that, here we go, our second to last game. 2 members of NRG out. This is not looking good for them.
No, absolutely not. To go down in 17th when you are nowhere close to the lead, only 10 points ahead. I mean, that opens the door for teams like Furia, like TSM, like Luminosity here. The guard, I was shocked. I was just counting the seconds on what was supposed to be third-party movement, rotation in, and that gas, it dissuades them from making their impression, and they pull away, right? Could have maybe come in on top of the damage that went back and forth there in energy. Instead, they decide to hold off.
Yeah, that's the crypto benefit, and the reason they held off was the team comps that they're up against. I mean, you're up against, I think it's Gibraltar, obviously very defensive, Caustic, and then the third was Valkyrie, is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Standard year 2.
Yeah, exactly. So a very, very defensive team comp you don't want to have any business of pushing. That's going to keep them alive. Meanwhile, Sweet is trying to rat and see maybe I can get a banner. No way, right?
With CLG literally in the stomping ground of your dead friends there, I don't think it's going to come true. And honestly, with what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams still enforced to make their way in here in just a moment longer, I can't imagine these trenches don't become even more contested. And Sweet is spotted out before we see another team go down. I mean, we're not even in placement point territory yet.
That's right. Another northern zone, this time not northwest, but far, far north pole. Season already there. The guard likes these zones as well. See how they'll continue to play this with their crypto. Meanwhile, LG, the exact opposite play style. Going to continue to play edge. They also like these zones because they can just work their way in through edge, pick up kill points along the way, but it's going to be a tough one to do. Really, really tough zones for working late. Not nearly as tough as the northeast zones where you have to work your way up that insane verticality, but nonetheless, good situation here for the guard to continue to play edge.
We'll see there. TSM, I do want to make mention of them because they are in our second place. They are playing edge as well. Not as extreme as Luminosity, but over on the outskirts of some of those domes towards the east, just below wall. That can be a decent rotation, but it does get a little bit more dicey when you try to kind of make your way out from this to those black rock exposures directly across from you. And teams like what you can see right now, E8 or CLG, can potentially punish you.
Yeah, and that's so interesting that TSM's been doing that a couple times now, where they have a chance to early rotate and fast rotate, get positioning, but hold that thought. LG find themselves in a fight. We said they like this edge play. NRG eliminated from this game as well. Neasel's going to run. Reset. Jaguars currently knocked, and it's going to be all up to Neasel last alive. Might finally end the hot streak. That was Luminosity.
Ooh. Reed's here looking for response, though, and instead, it's Monsoon who finds that knock onto Vayne. A little bit of assistance here, spared over to that Luminosity roster for now. SSG now swooping into the low ground will finish off Luminosity. Definitely not one of those rosters you want to be seeing going out in that second to last game there, but it can't be much better for Glitch Gaming.
Yeah, Reed's last alive. I think they're going to lose most of their teammates. Meanwhile, Tripods, with some confidence, going to enter this fight. 3 full red Evo shields in front of them. They are down quite a bit of HP in this fight. We'll see how they decide to take it. They need a 3-2-1 of a lifetime. There it is. Shield broken. Not the knock.
Not the knock. It's big damage down here, and they might continue to push this one forward, especially knowing that they've got some of it out to work with here, but immediately Gent from behind, out and down to 25 health. If I'm Mercs, I'm saying pull away. It's scary. It's as worse as we thought. Deeds down here. The rest of Tripods, yes, slowly working their way back up against the hill, but they've been egoed out. They know they're low. They know they're blue shields.
Yeah, but now they're going to have some wallhack info. Nick's going to go down likely in a moment as well, and there you go. They get absolutely consumed by SSG. Chomp, chomp, chomp for them. Three free KP, and SSG will continue to roll here. ESA, meanwhile, it's going to be Reed trying to come back for banners. Uses the commotion to get at least one, I think.
Might be able to slip away here, but with Frex right on the back end with that scan, and the fact that Zone does kind of allow for some more defensive rotations into it. You know, no one's going to be out there waiting for you. I mean, why not? Extend the time, pick up the KP. Don't leave a sore thumb in the backdrop to come through and play your backside.
And I may say it's GG. Sorry, last live is, it reads of Glitch Gaming gets taken out. That's going to be it for them. Glitch is out. 14 squads remain. A lot of activity here in Checkpoint. Meanwhile, we all know Zone's going to be pulling just north and west of Checkpoint here in this one as we have Optic. All 3 members alive here in this scenario.
Yeah, but a little split there, knocked over on that side, and we just saw how contested this area is between Sentinels and many more here. Getting knocked back should potentially be that first priority, because one quick beam, and it is all said and done. And I like this. Even though you lose out on your height, you lose out on checkpoint position, you're already going to be rotating north anyway. I think it was a better decision to group back up.
You know, I mean, perhaps it was. I think it was to group back up, but this north rotate's gonna be tough. This is why. Look at Oxygen right here. You know, someone's holding that choke, and it's Oxygen here. So now you're putting yourself in the center of the sandwich.
Oh!
And you are gonna get beamed again. It's enemy. He's so good in these mid to close range fights. Gets the first knock and breaks ice.
Oh my gosh, and now you've given away this information. What could have been a very sneaky rotation, and every from checkpoint and above now knows what you've done here. Oxygen slowly extending their way forward. They're going to lose out on some of their action due to the bit of cover you get up there from checkpoint, but I can't imagine Optic fare much better there. Surprisingly, neither Sentinels or OLN are going to extend much pressure back. They're allowed to get revive.
Yeah, I mean, they got the intel of the knock in their kill feed. They heard the damage. I'm surprised they didn't try and take advantage right there. Instead, Optic packed it full.
Wow. Zone, a little bit of the more interesting end finishes here. It does pull out from North Pad, kind of more into that open area. We've seen these endings before, and they can become, I mean, chaotic, right? Sometimes it literally ending out directly in the middle of nowhere with the little exposures and rocks you get to play towards that eastern side. Season, really the only squad who looks to have a direct rotation. My big worry is teams that come in for that East play too early are punished so quickly. You need to time it almost perfectly. It can be good, but it has to be at the very end.
Still the same 3 teams here over in Checkpoint. And then, yep, you get to keep a close eye on where Zone's going to be pulling over towards the northwest side of the map. And which teams are best positioned. We know Guards in the vicinity. We know TSM's playing a bit of an edge at the northwest side of the zone. Meanwhile, of these 3 teams in Checkpoint, yeah, only one's going to make it. We have likely, unless the Valcolt out for 1 or 2 of them. But OLN, no Valkyrie to their name. They're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way with the rotate with Oxygen gatekeeping.
This is, I mean, there's a guarantee you see at least 2 of them down into that rotate. We'll see how it pays the price. Obviously, there's a lot of time left, 30 seconds to go to potentially pull some sort of action off that gives you your guarantee into further zones. TSM, another one of those squads, though. They are as extended as it gets out here towards the eastern side, and we know when it comes to these buildings out here towards the edge, E8, Furia already taking complete control and have direction towards their back.
Yeah, here we go. Furia. Really quiet second half of this series. We said it needs a really big last 2 games, and so far, not a bad position, at least not a bad situation with such good Evo shields and loot. No kills to their name, though, so again, all for nothing. If you can't make it to late game here, we'll see what Furia will do, playing on the edge and kind of gatekeeping there. Here comes the push from Optic. 3v3 against Oxygen for now.
Down into the low ground, notably, with that smoke in play. Oxygen extends 1 member from behind, but that's what actually is going to seal the deal in this fight. Enemy is caught out, pays the price. He's down. This opens up the low ground wall. Yes, knocked his stun for a moment. He's got a shield swap that Oxygen provides to him. TSM, meanwhile, taking away E8.
That's right. He says, give me that shield swap, boy. It's mine. Meanwhile, Imperial Hal and Reps the duo to 2v2. First knock comes through for Hal. Beams with the car, and Reps needs to go big.
Oh
and he
my
does.
gosh.
All 3 members dead of E8. Will he get the res? Yes. Hal and Reps the duo with Madness nearby.
Madness from behind with an Arc Star prevents Reps from getting this one off, and MPS are more than healthy here. Shubi-Tubi also coming back as Madness is actually going to brace it away. They trade this one off. Furia, though, taken out from Sentinels in the south side and back down here towards our choke excursion. Sentinels from Checkpoint coming in to potentially clean house on Optic. They're back into their building there. It looks like there's extra shots spared as well as OLN, that second team to fall from Checkpoint now.
Yeah, this is the saga continued of the 3 Checkpoint teams. OLN eliminated. We have Optic still alive and Sentinels right now, right outside of them. Optic is playing like an absolute steam train, rolling right now, not missing and playing as a team so well.
Really
the Wolfpacking on point. Meanwhile, Sentinels trying to surround them and trap them, but Is it enough?
Really, really good micro drone scan there. Might give them their access into this fight, but a grav lift coming in at the perfect time to prevent any movement towards this choke here. And actually, it looks like Sentinels, they pull away. They back up. They realize they've expended too much. They don't have any of their cooldowns, and they need to start focusing up towards the north. Meanwhile, MPS, they're picked off by CLG. We talk about our year 2 squad composition out in the building. They don't even survive, and TSM, they are back up.
Yeah, Hal's out. It's going to be all up to the last 2. We went from the Hal and Reps duo to the new young gun alongside Reps, the veteran. Keep a close eye on how they will fare. 8 squads remain in this final game number 11. Crucial game 11 with Furia still alive. TSM in first place right now. Verholz cannot go down.
Stopped on that battery with that scan coming through and clean there. And Sentinels with this wide swinging rotation, there's no chance for Verholz to exist much longer there. Now Reps ratting somewhere away to hopefully pin up the board there in some of those placements. I will say, one good thing that TSM has going for them, we talk about Luminosity, Energy, Furia, they've all been eliminated.
Oh, Furia's out as well, huh? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Good looks. Way different conversation then. So really, it's just bonus points at this point. They're playing with house money. If Reps can just survive, get 6, maybe 5 placement points, it's TSM looking to lock this one, have it in the bag potentially, with NRG having a 17-point game last game.
Whew. Capra from afar with that wingman. Nice drop down onto Aiden, and Sinox and Tyler not doing much better behind this rock. We talk about how open this end zone is, and so many of these teams that have set up early are now seeing the advantage fully come through in fruition here. Tyler, our EMEA friend, picked off as Sentinels go down in 7th, and that is one more placement that TSM survived forward to.
Yeah, so this is big. I mean, the Guard and 100 Thieves and Oxygen, all teams that had a really good day yesterday, were in the top 5 and kind of slowed down a little bit the last couple games, all with an opportunity. Same with Optic Gaming. They picked it up last game. All of these teams essentially, including Season, really needed big games here, and they're going to get it.
Oh! What a good slide into the wingman. Make it one more there. Now, Season can't extend much further out, but with the help of the Guard, they do pick off in tow. 100 Thieves are down to their final member, it looks like. And now Optic, hearing the shots, they want to clean things up.
That's right. Oxygen in 4th place. I mean, quietly right behind TSM. A big game from Oxygen here could open up an opportunity. 100 Thieves eliminated. Optic's going to take high ground, and that might be the win condition. Good damage being done from afar. Not going to get the knock that they wanted, but 5 squads here left. Oxygen and Optic, the highest ranking alongside the Guard. And look at that. Rep's still alive.
Oh my gosh, still alive there. Aberlele at any given point in that CLG roster might be able to swing on that rock and see him. They're literally 10 feet away from each other. Meanwhile, for Season, they are pressured against this particular pillar. You can see Optic finally on their way down. They know they want it. An Arcstar in play. Clayn is flesh. Capra is down, and Optic are way more healthy. They make short work of this team.
Optic is feasting, and I stand corrected. Sorry, Oxygen got taken out, so it's the Guard and Optic, the last 2 big teams. But guess what? Reps and Alberlelli both ratting to a top finish, I think, as we got the Guard and Optic in a 3v3 fight, and the Rats might be able to feast
CLG
here.
is still in. CLG is still in as
CLG
a full
Alberlelli,
3. They're on the outside. Yes, 10 in the top right.
Massive.
They have zone play, and you can see them even trying to rotate right now. Reps picked off
full squad.
finally. They've
just been content watching everyone else fight and getting more placement points. So here we go. 3-way fight here. 3v3v3.
I love this. The Guard, they opt to pull the opposite way. They're going to run into CLG first. This might give Optic their game.
Here we go. Alberlelli with the PK going to hit it. All up to Optic to come in third party, but the shield swaps are going to come through. Need to clutch a 2v3 is CLG, but Optic says nuh-uh. Dropped beams, and just like that, Optic Gaming does it. They are your winners here in game number 11.
It has been a long overdue win here for Optic Gaming. They've been playing very well all day, but never quite on the cusp of that win. They were so close in our last game of Storm Point, calling out that zone early, and it almost felt like it was robbed from them. Finally, they worked their way into a win.
You saw those matching team skins too? Character skins? You saw that? Looking a little icy, a little fresh, a little undead. Okay, I like the theme. I'm all about themed team skins. What's up?
I'll tell you what here, that is a fantastic performance, but you can't talk about that game without mentioning the guard really being the decisive factor. Had the guard go for the swing on the northern side, I mean, we're looking at a pretty much CLG win, right? They go for the opposite end, pull back towards the south, top of CLG, and no matter who comes out on top of that fight, I mean, you're guaranteeing a position here for what was, in this case, Optic.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then even before then, too, as you saw here, CLG, ultimately Optic cleaned up. Not a lot to talk about on screen. But another point, too, Sentinels. When they have that 3v3 fight, they have Optic trapped. I don't know what's going on with Sentinels right now, but a little indecisive. They're not taking. They're a good fighting team. They got a lot of skill. They got Aiden on the squad, right? They got Tyler FPS, Senox, who's a beast. Take that 3v3, and they end up in the same position. They actually steal Optic's positioning. It's like a team in March Madness stealing the seed of a top-seeded team and taking that bracket. That's exactly what you want to do if you're Sentinels. Instead, they let Optic Gaming go and clean up when they could have been them.
Yeah, and they rotate into North Pad, they take height, and then they have perfect prime position, and now walk away with 23 points there. CLG and the guard, respectively, with their second and third, right behind them. And yes, Season and TSM reps, ratting it out, does manage to accumulate 8. The real question there is, was it enough? Was it enough to surpass NRG? I don't think so.
Yeah, it'll be close. I don't think it was either. So, I mean, basically, it's going to be at least a 5 or 4 point difference between these two teams going into the last game. We're in for quite the finish here.
With that being said, we're going to be taking this one to a short break. And when we come back, the final game of the Split 2 playoffs of Oversight.
10 watching everyone else fight and getting more placement points. So here we go. 3-way fight here. 3v3v3.
Oh, and I love this. The guard, they opt to pull the opposite way. They're going to run into CLG first. This might give Optic their game.
Here we go. Sal Berlelli with the PK going to hit it. All up to Optic to come in third party, but the shield swaps are going to come through. Need to clutch a 2v3 is CLG, but Optic says nuh-uh. Dropped beams, and just like that, Optic Gaming does it. They are your winners here in game number 11.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am happily joined by the big man Fallout over here. And we are one.
Oh, man. They say, once you go Greek, you won't walk for it. No, okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. Listen. This has been a fun series. Let's get back on topic here. He says chat is wilding out. I open up chat and I see some crazy things. Y'all are crazy out there. I appreciate y'all, though. Seriously.
Keep it up. Keep it coming. I always hate doing this. Like, ALGS, like, yeah, of course, professional. We read the chat. We read it. We enjoy it. I like snooping in on it while I'm casting. You guys are a joy, and you support the stream, so why not? Absolutely. But we are one final game away from wrapping up all of Oversight here for Split 2. Let's take one last look at that leaderboard. See what is in store for this final moments on Storm Point.
That's right. And as we do that, I got this chat is just insane. Love you guys. I gotta turn it away. The distractions are a 10 out of 10 right now, but we'll be back. Keep a close eye now. Seriously, so much love for every single one of y'all. But thanks for hanging out with us, making it fun. NRG on top in first place with 106 points. 2-point difference between TSM and NRG. You wouldn't have it any other way. It's honestly a story you'd almost write to go into a last and final game, the two rivals.
Yeah, we scripted it with Furia right there behind them.
Exactly.
Optic as well. I mean, these are some of the biggest dogs in competitive Apex Legends within the last 2 years. And the Guard, they even have their story as these like newcomers. I know they're a bit further away, but they're still fighting for a position into really nice prizing here. I mean, you cannot make this up.
I mean, honestly, your top 7. Those are the top 7 teams that are just consistently good. It was almost foreshadowing earlier when we talked about how Apex is the most consistent BR, and you see the consistently best teams stay on top, and that's showing true right now. I'm really excited for this last and final game because it's a great story.
Yeah. Well, everything to be wrapped up here. Your last character selection. I'm just going to keep doing stuff like that the entire time. Your final. Your the last moments. We're counting the seconds. It's the final opportunity. One last check on this here as the dropship one final time makes its way through Storm Point.
That's right. 12th and final game here, and an interesting pull. We slightly south of central pull, though, overall. This is the zone that Team Liquid salivates over, obviously with Cascade Falls and early rotate, also on top of the Loba ultimate that they get in late game. But for now, pretty good. The TSM gets the hot zone, so very favorable game, a good start for TSM. NRG will find themselves in a good position as well as the Guard, who can really rotate and get themselves in good positioning.
Now, you made a really good point off of that last game where we have been seeing TSM, even with dominant kind of zone pulls, they really shore up a little bit towards that edge. And in their best games, that allows them to pick up their KP and they come out massively on top. But in some of the recent situations we've seen, they survive, but it usually comes at the price of 1 or 2. I wonder if we're going to be having kind of the same strategy or something more dominant. For now, this contest.
This is insane. I love this overhead camera view, by the way. Shout out to our production team. Oh, here we go.
Ooh.
1-for-1 knock, a trade. 2v2, make it a 1v2 now, all up to dropped. Is the damage done? No. Drop doesn't like the damage. Instead says, let me go find a shield swap. Let me pick up the Spitty. No, and he's going to get that shield taken.
No.
That should be it for Optic, so you hate to see it. Optic Gaming, after a really big game last game, finally, actually, no, it's Aim Assist joins the fray in the fight here, and now it may actually be the last ones laughing.
Optic, I hate to say their story's all said and done here, but it is over here, and now Aim Assist, they're looking to share the same fate for Dark Zero, trying to track this one down. Designful, obviously, I know he's fingering what is that tactical, just waiting for, yes, the scan to come through. And hey, meanwhile, Tripods, another successful contest against DSA.
And that's, you know, a little bit of a grudge match. Luda, former teammate. So they win the 2 out of 3 fights. Meanwhile, Aim Assist versus Dark Zero is going to get the first knock. Zero goes down, and Sharky finally follows up with a knock of his own, leaving his final teammate, Sharky, in a 1v2.
Oh, well, Aim Assist chasing this one down into the central position. A grab lift is extended, and Chaotic Munch will pay a bit of damage, but it's nowhere close to what Designful is providing in the end. Both Dark Zero and Optic in their contest in Mill, neither come out on top.
Why did Aim Assist have to go and just ruin it? You know, they just come out of nowhere.
Come on, guys.
Third partying. I think they must have dropped a no-name village right to the east, gotten some quick loot, and then immediately third-partied. So that's going to be the lay of the land and how the cookie crumbles here. Aim Assist wins it. Dark Zero, Optic, both out already, as well as ESA being taken out by Tripods over in Snowte Cave.
Now, this is a little bit of a weird zone. Once again, we are still kind of drifting towards that northwestern area, but nothing is super dominant in terms of, say, like the down beast. Mill is in presence, so it might be one of those zones where we see it kind of drift out slightly to the north of Mill here, where you get some teams able to root themselves in that POI and the rest fighting for the buildings and the chokes outside of checkpoint.
Saw a cheeky little gold extended energy mag. I'm a fan of. Get that thing on a volt. See a happy enemy who would likely be the one to pick that up, I think. If they can find themselves at least a volt. Meanwhile, it is E8. You know, Yeet cannon themselves right over all of Oxygen. And I don't think this fight will necessarily continue as E8 is just going to hit an early rotate. They have terrible, terrible shields, grays across the board, so they don't want to fight this.
No, but putting themselves early here into this kind of ridgeline up against Mill, I don't think it's going to be much better. They're going to maybe find themselves a place to call a happy home, but we talk about the Guard. Yeah, they're already here. We know Aim Assist just rooted themselves there. OLN, they clear what is that IMC armory, and they make a very expedient rotation. I can't imagine this goes all too perfect.
Yeah, a lot of fast rotates, plus the Valk ult means E8. They ain't playing around. They want themselves an early rotate and positioning here in this potential checkpoint or Mill finish. And they're going to say, let's split the difference, I think. There's a team nearby. I thought they wanted those 2 buildings. One team on the bridge. And they're kind of trying to land somewhere and going to get damaged quite a bit, but will be able to survive and heal back up.
Wow. I can't believe they managed to put themselves anywhere close to a place of safety. I know, yeah, guard trained on this position. That EMP also coming through there, but I can't imagine they make a confident rotation across that specific area there. TSM still in the same position that we even saw from last game out here towards the edge, and in the distance, you can see NRG taking some major damage. Might be their potential end if we see this full-on push.
Oh, man. TSM, NRG, and Aim Assist continuing to play spoiler. They already did it for Optic. They did it for Dark Zero, who was trying to maybe break into the top 7 if they could. And they do it now for NRG. Good damage here already from Designful. Level up with Evo Shield at that. Gets the scan in. He's going to try and be the tip of the spear and break ice, but not going to do that. He'll be kept at bay.
Aim Assist literally pushing the pedal on so many of these decisive teams coming into the final game. I mean, where was this? Meanwhile, it looks like TSM also arriving here in the down beast. Now, obviously, no shots have really kind of finalized themselves here, so you don't want to see them go too heavily for that rotate, or if pretty much anyone in this situation, a pseudo kind of gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, Energy's going to slip their way out. They say, hey, I don't want any of this mess. Like you said, perhaps a little bit of a GA, but Aim Assist, they throw all GAs out the window as they are going to try and continue to push. You know, they don't never stop pushing is kind of the name of their game, but NRG will try to make it to late game. Hits the rotate early. Needs to be careful, though, for any teams that may have just ventured over to Mill. But Aim Assist is obviously the last team that won that Mill fight, so you wonder, is anyone there yet? Is NRG going to basically just be gifted a bit of a god spot or good positioning for this late game?
Can't imagine. I mean, if Mill is left uncontested here, even in the slightest, Energy are gifted a incredible rotation. And TSM, they'll take height, but I mean, that feels like a huge, major loss for, I would say, Aim Assist there and what was supposed to be their push forward.
That's right, and that's just the reality for these edge fighting teams like Aim Assist, former G2, aggressive squads that ultimately just want to keep pushing. They want to play edge. They prefer to play edge. They hate scenarios where the zone ends, where they drop. They used to hate those thermal station finishes.
Oh,
they preferred the North Climatizer finishes, right? So the reality is they'd rather push and fight and continue to do so, rinse and repeat, which opens up the door for a team like Energy to say, swoop, let me take that spot. And I think Energy's going to walk it in. Yes, they will.
We'll see how it ends up for them now, dominantly in that spot. 100 Thieves might challenge here in a little bit with that redeploy coming through. That's clearly red out in the distance. And now TSM, their focus instead of NRG and anyone ahead is Aim Assist right there on that low ground. And oh, look at this. They take the building. Energy just were in.
A little bit of swap here, and calm before the storm right now. Especially this late game finish. As I say that, though, LG says, they take out 2, and they're going to actually take out 3. GG eliminated. That's a good start for LG. Luminosity got taken out, finally slowed down, calmed down from their tear that they were on last game, finally. Here we are, though, in our last and final game. They got a clutch up. They're currently sitting, I think it was in, top 7, top 6, so LG off to a good start.
Definitely good for them. They're going to need some serious KP, though, if it really means putting themselves in a, I would say, happy position on that leaderboard. At least for Luminosity, they've got their time. Tripods, SSG, potentially to work against. Meanwhile, Aim Assist, they're up from this low ground again. They're back up on top of Down Beast. They push TSM back, and they're just going to bide their time. I mean, think of being in, say, TSM's position right now. You know you are currently points away from winning it all. You can't manage to risk just about anything. We're going to tune in with their comms, see exactly what they're saying.
I can see ulti. Wait.
Both all ran out. Both all just ran out. They're throwing my door off. They're definitely pushing us.
They're pushing now.
We should walk up. We should walk up on them. I think we should play aggressive on this. We walk up on them.
They're all behind the building. All inside or behind it.
I have a good scan.
Have a good horizon ult.
I arc the door. One's queuing up.
Cracked one.
Play up, blood out scan.
Hey, bang ulted us. We can go forward if you want.
Yeah, I'm playing forward.
Okay.
They have digis. Play back,
Wait,
go back to headies.
Yeah.
They're gonna walk up on that.
Yeah.
Hold the headies.
Wait, behind me.
Get inside now.
Trying to. Oh. Design, you're a fucking idiot.
I'm dead, man.
Oh, the call out on design. One last second to go here. TSM, it is all over for our friends. Aim assist. They resolved to third party, make up where they had failed, but it's too late. It's too late.
Yeah, I think Cal and Reps might be angry at Designful. I think there may be some anger that's there from Designful giving up great positioning in mill and just pushing people on the edge, putting TSM in the middle of a sandwich with Season flanking and taking advantage and capitalizing. So as a result, TSM is out. Goodbye to my friend Zephyr's prediction, by the way. And Nice Wig and Clara and whoever else predicted that TSM to win.
And everyone else.
And everyone else in the lobby.
Meanwhile, for aim assist here, this might be finally it. You know, get some revenge on this team that has been causing literal havoc in this lobby here. First it's Optic and Dark Zero, then it's into TSM. They've got 2 members down. Season should be able to clean this up.
That's right. They're all going to reset to full 2v1 clean. That should be it. Unless Chaotic Much can do something insane right now. Will he decide to just back out and let them res? Now he'll just bait the res. There's 3v1 and see you later, Chaotic Much. See you later. Aim assist. Taking out themselves and basically suicidal, taking out TSM as well.
What a story. I genuinely can't believe it. Literally changing up everything in their final moments and so many squads paying the price here. But that means big news. Obviously, we look towards teams like Furia, NRG here, even squads like the Guard, Oxygen, Luminosity, who with resounding, incredible games can put themselves in a position to win it all. Obviously, all eyes on NRG right now.
Yeah, that's right. Furia is 14 points behind NRG going into this game. So, I mean, Furia needs a huge game, and there's only 12 squads left in this lobby, so a lot of kill points won't be there for them. I don't know if it's going to be enough. You're talking a 25-point game if NRG gets, you know, quite a few less than that. So, overall, it's going to be a tough situation here for Furia. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves, top and down Beast, just kind of gatekeeping, keeping an eye over here on Season. And NRG was in, we thought, good positioning in mill. Can kind of walk it in here, but it's pretty much a no man's land finish. Look at this.
This is just gross here. I like anything coming out of maybe down Beast. You get a little bit of height advantage on some of those trees and exposures, but I mean, this is just gross. This is a gross ending. It is in the open.
It is disgusting. The Guard, hey, you got to give kudos to the Guard. They predicted it at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been there since the jump.
I don't know what their next rotation's gonna be, but they're there. They're there.
Let's rotate from bridge to water. Like that's pretty much all you can do. From grass to water. Interesting stuff here for all teams. These rotations are gonna be very, very tough. That's why we already see 12 squads that really hyper aggressive last game. Aim assist kind of started that trend. I think you're gonna see a lot more squads eliminated here pretty quickly.
Well, for Luminosity, they do have a little bit of some sneak play coming up through on their eastern side with what I believe was MPS for just a moment there. Oh, you can see the shots finally ringing true and clear here. But even with 1 minute to go, I mean, Luminosity, who is one of those squads who needs to have a fantastic game, are nowhere close to the pace necessary to usurp some of these positions yet.
Yeah, 80 points for them, 12 behind Furia. If they're playing for top 3, again, same thing. They got to have a really big game. I think they can break in with Optic being out. They can break into the top 5 with a big game, but this is what's interesting. Of our top 7 teams, the only 2 that are eliminated are TSM and Optic. Oxygen, Guard, NRG, Furia, and LG all still alive. Here's Tripods.
Not for long.
Exactly. Here's not Tripods.
Here's potentially the end of Tripods here today. It's a drop onto Gent, and there is a nice rotation on the backside of those rocks to at least provide some safety. But, I mean, where do you rotate if you're Tripods right now? Where's your next entrance in? You've already tried the mill direct, and heading out towards the west is going to be covered in the same way.
Yep. The mill positioning and rotate, we thought maybe it's where the zone would pull. Maybe they'd have God spot. Ended up not being the case. But at the end of the day, they still have great positioning because great cover, great high ground. They can gatekeep some teams, and they can ultimately just walk into their left. I don't know which team. It was 100 Thieves. I think 100 Thieves is still alive. That was in the no-name land right behind them.
Yes.
So I think they're still there. So they got to be careful with the 100 Thieves on their back. But overall, I mean, with the rock right in front of them, in zone, energy's still in a pretty good spot.
Well, we'll see how it goes for them. Obviously, Miaching up against OLN right here. Oxygen ahead as well. They're going to lose out on this building, but I mean, they have this next rotation already provided to them. They just want to make sure that on their movement out, they don't have OLL come up from behind, try to push themselves into the same area.
Yeah, that's right. And again, my big question mark is where's 100 Thieves? Are they nearby? They're going to get a first knock, though. That's big on Reptar. Do they take this fight, or do they avoid the third party is the question. Nice, good damage. Might give them a chance to push. Oh, missed shots right there for Nathan.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like Reptar will go down to Gilderson, so they'll at least get the kill point.
Still finding their KP in that final moment, and they at least bring that squad down with, that rotation as Oxygen's in that building ahead. No way they survive that. Meanwhile, out here towards checkpoint, Choke, you got CLG with Furia on height, trying to gatekeep Sentinels on the low ground, and what looks to be out on the far end, MPS as well here. Surprisingly, Furia looked like in a really, really healthy place, albeit not a lot of cover.
Yeah, that's right. That was a bit of a firing range right there. Nick Merck's going to get eliminated. Tripods out of this lobby. So down to 10 squads left. Final 10 teams in this game. Here comes some grenades long range. They know they no longer have the Gibraltar Dome to work with for quite some time. Does Furia push for the kill?
We'll see here. That big break with the ordnance should be all said and done. And even Sentinels on the other side might be making their way forward. It's immediate. You see that? They read it just as quickly as we do. Sentinels up from that high ground, finally work their way, and Fury can't collapse. And it's a reset given to CLG.
Three-way fight. This reminds me of like an end game. This is like a three-way mini end game here before the real end game, which is going to happen as soon as these three teams leave the choke. Only one team
into
will make
MPS.
It. Yeah, exactly. Into MPS, in the guard, and a couple other squads. This is going to be a tough one for sure. For any of these three teams to win, you got to think Furious chances are pretty slim.
The real question is who has Newcastle, because that's what I'm looking for right now. that's the ticket home.
Yeah, and or Valk for a rotate.
Yeah, over the wall would be good there. Obviously, everyone's kind of playing that one as safe as they can there, especially now that they're moving closer to the choke. You don't want to be ran up from behind after taking the start of a fight. Energy with height on the rocks for now have slowly worked their way a bit further forward from the mill. They're not quite in that zone yet, but I love this. They have that next position set in stone ahead of them. They just need to breach what is this exhibit, finish this squad off, and they've got it.
Right. Last and final game. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Oversight Split 2 playoffs. Presented by Hyperlux. Big shout again to Hyperlux, the best esports platform in gaming, for supporting the Apex community. On board right now with Nathan and NRG. They're in first place. They have their tournament to lose at this point. Here comes the big fight, the cluster that is these three teams.
CLG, they opt to go for the redeploy. Fury has found that knock onto Sentinels, and they're expending as much damage as they can. They don't quite have the angles from behind on Sentinels, and that's what's going to pay. Immediately, a knock onto Watson. As a result here, a turnaround from Zera will at least find the full wipe onto that Sen roster, but now you have to question. CLG is right in front of you. As you launch directly into the face of them, they're going to make absolutely short work of you.
Yeah, basically turned into a race. The first team to make it and gatekeep won, but guess what? No one wins. Zera Tricky last alive. The gatekeeping from the rest of the team is going to come through, and that's going to be it for Zera. That's going to be it for CLG momentarily, unless Zera Tricky can pull off something miraculous. MPS right above them, and the other squad nearby. 6 squads remain. Our last and final game all comes down to this, with NRG on top.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect Furia to survive as long as they did there. A lot of the damage was assisted by those from the opposite side of the zone there to pin CLG as well. But start talking about the other angle, this high ground. Luminosity with a late revive here and an instant shield pickup. They are back in full force, and they're right out in the open, but energy on height. Energy on height.
I gotta say, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. That escape from NRG to avoid the cluster that was designed full aping, wisest decision. They just got out of that madness, and the fact that they were able to slip away untouched was the difference maker. Here they are with 6 squads remaining on top of the rock here. Pride Rock, and an opportunity to close this one out.
I swear to God, if NRG win both Oversight playoffs back to back, that is something completely different. Okay. Yeah. That's a wild narrative.
How did LG
there.
get that res without NRG just looking down?
They just didn't. They just did not. Obviously, the angles there aren't. Think about it. They come up a little bit closer to the forward position there. You have teams like MPS and Guard who suddenly can provide shots on you. right? You're not allowed to walk up and actually get free damage down without taking some yourself.
No way Zera Trick he's getting out of this, right? And here comes Zera on the 1v2. He's going to get some help.
He's got a lot of damage down.
And it's going to be LG that just profits. Pow Pow gets one as well.
And Pow Pow down to one final tick of health there. All it takes is just, yes, the guard. Just move on over, focus him down, pick him up. 4 squads remaining. Luminosity, NRG on top here from behind there. SCN and guard in below.
Yeah, that's what the guard does. Early rotates, pick up KP in late game, and here we are. 4 squads remaining. Consistent play. NRG, the guard, are 2 of them. Guess what? Keon's gonna get the knock on Yanya. It's gonna open things up here for Luminosity. Down to 2 members, but opening things up for the guard and NRG still sitting on high ground, and the zone's pulling right to them.
They don't have any resources, though, to spare in terms of their health. Look at their inventories. They're down to their last ticks here. They've got to find some fight that takes place before they themselves maybe get some shields, maybe some swaps ready to go for what will inevitably be this rotation in from Season and guard that they have to contest.
Surely Energy does not lose this with high ground here. It's theirs to lose unless they have some type of massive throw. Great control right now. NRG so well played, but guess what? One team just in front of them, LG right behind them, lost one. I think they did get the res, is what I'm wondering. That's LG right there, who just continues to be a nuisance and a thorn on their side.
Now, the thing is, LG, in a moment's notice with the zone closing in, won't be able to climb up from behind if NRG played their cards right here and forced them back. And that should give them the time as all these other teams do begin to contest. I'm, like I said, though, severely worried about the health and resources that NRG have available. They've been peppered by so many squads for so long. I don't know what their survivability really looks like in this endgame.
Yeah, LG's back to full here. You wonder, is there a world where LG, we've seen them do crazier things, somehow pulls this off over NRG? That is the question. Meanwhile, NRG on high ground, the guard's still alive. LG, I'm not sure who that 4th team is all the way across the way, but not a whole lot of Season, not a whole lot of cover to work with.
That Season Shore's right up against the rock there, and everyone is literally playing ends against the middle on this final piece of exposure. NRG don't quite have the complete read, but with that smoke coming through, they immediately now know where they are. The guard likely the first squad to be targeted, as they're going to be this last rotating team in. From above, though, NRG starting to find damage. The nicest part, no one has angles on NRG anymore.
And here comes the Bangalore ult. You knew the Bang ult was the only thing that could prevent NRG from winning this game, but they're just going to eat the damage. They'll be okay with that. They have time to spare. That Bang ult could have come just seconds later, would have made a difference. NRG will heal back to full. They'll play out the stun, and they will continue to roll. Here's another Bangalore ult, though. This one might actually be a little more harmful.
Season here slowly kind of extending themselves back towards where that center pole exists here, able to find massive damage down on the height. They will extend themselves up there with Capra finding that first knock onto Sweet, taking height, pulling back towards the zone. The guard is picked off by Luminosity, meanwhile giving NRG even seconds to spare here. Meanwhile, Luminosity from the other side finally fully send it in part onto Season. NRG are just begging for this height to last a little bit longer.
LG, are you kidding me? Alive and well right now, might just steal this game from under the nose of NRG. Here comes the push. Nathan and Guild as a duo, they will drop. LG is out. It's NRG and Season, and NRG should clean this up. 2v1, and that is it. We are done. Oversight playoffs. Split 2 champions will be NRG.
I genuinely cannot believe, after what was a massive game-changing knock onto NRG, the fact that they still managed to work that game in their favor. I mean, they are clawing for any kind of support on that height for as long as that game went, and it pays off.
Yeah, for a split second there. Capra, Season, get the knock. The Bangalore ult was the absolute worst nightmare for NRG right there. And there were 3 of them. They had to survive 3 nightmares to make it and win that game and close it out. They did. 2 players left, Gildersons and Nathan, 2 young absolute fraggers, and they clutch up in that fight. I mean, LG was obviously just in such a bad spot. They were in shambles, literally in a crevice of a rock, just hoping for the best, and ultimately, they still made it to top 3, so kudos to them. Season in second, NRG in first, and had a significant lead in points. TSM out, Furia out, all the ones that could have taken that championship away from NRG, and they close it out here. They do such a great job here in game number 12.
It's crazy too to think that we're talking weeks ago here. Everyone's on the fence with NRG, right? Coming off of the back end of the ALGS split where they just barely start to fix themselves on the tail end here of year 3, and then going into some of these recent performances, not playing in international scrims, they managed to find success when it truly counts here, and I think that's the most impressive thing of all.
That's right. NRG's your champion of Game 12. And guess what? NRG is your Split 2 champion of the Oversight Hyperlux Split 2 playoffs. Congratulations to them. They go back-to-back. NRG looking dominant here in Oversight. And guess what? Looking dominant going into Split 2 playoffs in London for ALGS as well. NRG on top.
We promise we don't write it out here behind the scenes, okay? We had no plans to see NRG come out as dominantly as they did, but I will say, it was close. Let's take a look at that leaderboard and just see how far above they actually were. It's only a 25-point difference above TSM. Had they had their massive game, had Furia had a phenomenal performance themselves, we'd be singing different praises right now.
Yeah, that's right. They just had to do it in dramatic fashion, too. Dropping a absolute goose egg on World's Edge. I mean, barely any points. Giving TSM a chance to claw their way back. And then just for in Game 12, the last and final game, to say, yeah, never mind, let's just win it. And closing it out. What a dramatic way to finish. But NRG, I wouldn't expect anything less. And also wouldn't expect anything less from TSM. Clawing their way back, down 40, 50 points coming into today. And still finding a way to finish top 2 and really almost finishing first place. Kudos and congratulations for TSM in second. And Furia rounding out third. Luminosity Gaming, what a story from them. Speaking about dramatic finishes, not even in the top 10 coming into today. I called them my dark horse, and they performed. Top 4 finish overall. The Guard will round out top 5.
Those are your prized positions. If you don't know, $8,400 for NRG, $4,800 for TSM, $3,000 for Furia, $2,400 for Luminosity, and then the Guard rounding that out at $1,400 to walk away with that lion's shares of the prize pool available. And man, what an ending at that. Oh.
Well, how about it? Thank you, production. Just had to do it. You know what I'm saying? My boy Greek, it's a Greek thing, you know? Correctly predicting the winners of things. That's what we do. We invented the Olympics.
No, I'm kidding.
We invented democracy. We invented predicting correctly in Apex Legends.
It was pretty damn close. Up until the very end. I visibly felt what was the movement of aim assist there and Designful and those decisions. And you guys didn't hear it. You guys did not hear, but we're in that listening, and I'm screaming my head off watching that take place. But I mean, it came down to the very end. It was up until the last game. There was no major 40-plus point gap, right? I mean, it was hard fought.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely. And jokes aside, man, kudos to you for calling it. I mean, TSM, I had the easy pick. I want to also clarify, they let us change our picks coming into today. And we knew that Furia and NRG had an insane lead. So, of course, I said NRG and Furia to stay on top and place top 3, which they did. But I called NRG day 1 before the tournament even started.
You did.
I predicted it. I called it and stuck with it. You stuck with your gut in TSM.
I said it.
That was a really good call. I mean, TSM performed really, really well. So kudos to you as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, I know a lot of y'all in chat are as well. This is just like a little bit of the taste test for when we see competitive either ramp up going into Split 2 of Year 3, or more importantly, these teams on their way to London to compete against the very best of the best across all 5 regions. I know I'm excited. I know you are specifically over there.
You got it right again. Dang it, I messed it up. I had one shot and I messed it up. Can't mess with cameras. But look, yeah, beyond excited, man. That's why this tournament was more than just the prize pool, was more than just pure entertainment for the 1,200 people watching this stream and thousands watching elsewhere. This was a setup. I mean, the macro discussion here is the macro climate between these 2 teams, or these 10 teams from North America. Many of them were in this lobby. Obviously, no Team Liquid, now XSET in this competition. But the reality is, all these teams are vying, and this was one last chance to prove who the best is and play in a highly competitive lobby with highly competitive stakes to practice and get ready for London. So this is a really, really exciting tournament, great timing, and just kudos to the entire Oversight team. I can't say it enough, but Chrono minus Tempo for the vision and putting this together. The PKG team on production were amazing, and this is just an amazing experience that we have Oversight to complement ALGS in the Pro League.
And obviously, thank you, of course, Fallout, for joining us in the final moments of Oversight to finish off our split here. And on top of that, it looks like we've got something even more special to introduce here. We're not just throwing it to the end. We've got an interview with NRG to wrap off the Oversight split.
Yo, what's up?
I was waiting for a video to pop up. We just got
video.
Voice.
We got
Yo,
voice.
what's
Okay.
up?
Yeah. I don't have my cam on. I don't have my cam on. It's guild.
Lovely. Man. Go ahead, Zephyr.
All right, Guild. What a phenomenal performance here. I've got to talk about the past a little bit before we get into today. NRG have been in a position here for the last few weeks where there have been questions. You know, y'all aren't at international scrims here, and play in ALGS was even a little bit rough. What and how does that impact the way you guys come into one of the biggest tournaments in North America into the playoffs?
Well, first of all, I mean, international scrims are a joke. We've got people punching each other out ring 3. Like, it's just, that is actually, like, if you were like, I genuinely think, like, 3-stacking ranked is more beneficial than playing scrims. Like, it's just actually a joke. As for ALGS, I mean, we had a lot of, like, you know, IRL just challenges, you know, going throughout ALGS. You know, it was a really rough time. And we're honestly pretty, proud of, like, how we pushed through when it came to ALGS during Pro League. So, I mean, you know, we've just been doing our best, you know, to, like, work on, you know, just, like, you know, strats and stuff out of game, you know, at our POI, you know, just a bunch of different things, rotates, watching other teams and seeing how they're playing and playing around it, you know, even if we're not playing in international scrims, we're still watching it and learning other teams' habits, you know, stuff like that.
Makes sense. Yeah, you guys are collecting the information and letting everybody else show their cards, essentially, which is a smart decision. I want to kind of follow on part 2 to that question, if it's okay. You mentioned, you know, our IRL problems. Was it just personality conflicts between y'all, or was it just personal problems that people were having and not able to kind of stay focused? If you don't mind shedding some light, if you can't, it's totally okay. And then the second thing, did you ever have any doubts? I mean, be honest, man. Was there ever a moment where you're like, crap, Xset, aka Team Liquid, they're playing really, really well with Sykes. Did I make the right decision? If you don't mind, I'd love your perspective on that.
Okay. Well, 3 of Sweet's grandparents passed away in 3 months during Pro League. And Nathan's grandpa also passed away for the last week of Pro League, and he had to go to his grandfather's cremation the day before our regional finals. And as for doubts, not really, because I have, like, supreme confidence in both of my teammates. Like, I've always said that, like, I think Sweet is the best IGL in the game, and Nate is just absolutely insane. Like, that dude is a freak. You know, I knew we would push through. I love my teammates, I really do.
Amazing, man. I appreciate you sharing that. They rest in peace. And again, our heart goes out to Sweet and Nathan. And obviously the confidence you have in them. You guys, it really felt like you guys were forming the Megazord. It was a God squad that was forming when you joined this team. And it showed today,
yeah,
for sure. And one more question, Zephyr, I got, and then you could wrap us up. Sure. Just walk me through that last game. That last moment, I think it was Sweet goes down. Yeah, Sweet goes down. You guys have kind of God spot. You have to survive 3 Bangalore ults. You do. And then you're a team of 2 and you clutch up. What was going through your head and your comms?
Low key, we think, like, Sweet going down might have been a blessing in disguise, because that team was, like, shooting up, like, below the rock in front of us with Digis, and him going down blocked us from all the bang rockets and blocked us from the nade, and just being able to play his knockdown and being able to play his knockdown when we were in the 2v3 at the end was really beneficial. I honestly think it was, like, you know, it might have been a little stressful in the moment, but I think it was a pretty good thing, to be honest.
You're saying it was calculated. You said Sweet's gonna get Sweet IGL'd himself going down. I'm gonna go down.
Yeah,
Sweet
went down on
shield.
purpose.
That's exactly what happened.
Hey, well, it paid off in the end. You guys were able to survive and handedly clean that one up, even though it looked extremely chaotic from our perspective. I have to ask, though, overall, you guys have had a long, extended season Oversight, and here tonight, you've matched up some of the best here. So impressions from not only tonight's tournament, but especially as we kind of go in towards internationals. What are some of the best looking teams in North America? Who do you think really meets up to the caliber of quote unquote NRG?
Give us a little tier list, Guild, and give us the truth, man. Who's trash?
Who's S tier, man?
I mean, TSM is, like, I feel like recently they've really come into form. They're definitely one of the hardest teams to fight, I think. TSM is really good. Obviously, Xset, those guys are just fantastic. They're really consistent always. LG as well. I feel like LG is kind of slept on. Those guys are really good. Like, actually, I think Yanya is one of the best rollers in the game. Those guys are really good. Those are some of the teams I think to watch out for.
Catfish.
All right. Well,
Any
I
catfish?
want to. Yeah. Anybody who comes out that way?
What, as what? A catfish?
Who's catfish?
Yeah. Who's catfish?
Who's catfish?
Shit, I don't know. I mean, that's
I'm instigating, man. I'm instigating.
All
You don't
right,
have to
all
answer
right,
that. You don't have to answer that.
Well, Guild, I want to once again congratulate you guys on being the back-to-back champions of the Oversight splits here, and I wish the best future for not only you, but the Energy roster.
Oh, thank you so much. We really made an effort to go back to back. I'm glad we did it.
Congrats again, man.
Well, with all that being said, what a phenomenal ending to a phenomenal split of Oversight. I know there's been hiccups on the back end. I know there's been a lot of worries and strife, but I can't help but feeling like this was the best of the best competitive Apex. And I'm happy I got to share it with you, man.
Yeah, I agree. Our first time casting together, and what a treat. The last 6 games of Oversight playoffs, great games that delivered, fun. I mean, you killed it, dude. I mean, the hype that I've heard all about you and watching you cast was real. You're class act, man. You absolutely crushed it. It was an honor to cast alongside you. And a big thank you to the Oversight team for having me to wrap this one up. It was a pleasure to be involved, something I wanted to be involved in for a very long time. So thanks so much again for Oversight team for having me. Zephyr casting alongside me, and the entire production team is amazing here at PKG. Big thank you to everyone that puts this together. We're lucky to have Oversight and Apex.
Yeah. So a big thank you to Follow, a big thank you to Tiff, Dia, obviously our producers on the back end, Park, Seal, Chrono, Minus Tempo, Bean, Diego, Brad, King Plays, everybody who makes this possible. And of course, most importantly, a thank you to all of you at home, the players, and everyone who continues to come out and support the Oversight tournament. We hope you all have a good night, stay safe, and tune in next time.
You in London.